What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 7MJ Chapter 151 The Big Snake Dies and Kaido Arrives. Please subscribe. Your so-called improvement of swordsmanship is superfluous. The original swordsmanship of the Kozuki family has been improved by generations of ancestors of the Kozuki family. Now it is mixed with your poison, and your swordsmanship has become mixed but not perfect, and it looks overwhelming. But the power has decreased instead. Levi's 7-star sword returned to its sheath, and he explained to Kurozumi Orochi. So that's it. Kurozumi laughed miserably. His position as general was unfair, so he wanted to erase all records about the Kozuki family. The Kozuki family's kendo was his attempt. Master Levi, I have a merciless request. Please let me complete the final blow. Hiori bowed to Levi. Go if you want. Levi also felt helpless towards these stubborn people in Wano Kuni. These guys were too rigid. Levi has defeated Orochi, and Wa still insists on finishing the last blow. I never thought that Kurozumi would eventually die at the hands of the Kozuki family, Kurozumi said with a sad smile. Hiori drew out Enma, and then the long sword in her hand stabbed Kurozumi Orochi's heart hard. As she inserted the sword, Kurozumi Orochi's breath suddenly came. Father, I finally avenged the Kozuki family. Kozuki Hiori looked at the bloodline on the End-Demon sword, and she burst into tears without knowing it. She had been waiting for this day for more than 10 years, and now she finally completed the revenge of the Kozuki family. Thank you, Master Levi. Kozuki Hiori walked up to Levi and thanked Levi again. Master Levi, I made an oath when I was young that as long as someone can kill the Kurozumi snake, no matter how old or young the samurai is, whether he is poor or rich, ugly or beautiful, I will recognize him as my husband. Hiori said every word while staring into Levi's eyes. Well, I already have a wife. Levi said with a guilty conscience while touching his nose. Although he used to miss Hiori, but now that Hiori confessed to him so directly, he still feels a little guilty. It doesn't matter, I can be smaller. Hiori took the initiative to step forward and took Levi's arm. Hey, brother, are you going to get married? Xiao Yu looked at the two of them and laughed. Get married, get married, get married. Xiao Yu and Ma Mei kept cheering on the sidelines. Levi, where are you bastard? When they were happy, they felt their sky darken. When they looked up, their expressions suddenly became horrified. Okay, so big, what kind of monster is this? Everyone was frightened. In the sky above the entire flower capital, there was a huge thing that covered the sky of the entire flower capital. Judging from the claws that he occasionally poked out, it was a creature in the air. The capital of flowers is the capital of Wano Kuni. It is the most prosperous place in Wano Kuni. At this moment, countless people saw the giant thing in the sky, and the entire flower capital suddenly became chaotic. Run away! The monster is pressing down. What a scary monster! The entire flower capital suddenly became a mess. Countless people were noisy and crowded, and they all ran towards the outside of the flower capital. Sir, what a monster that is! Shudenmaru also began to speak incoherently. That's 4 Emperors Kaido. Levi's eyes narrowed slightly, not seeing him for so many years. Kaido's strength has also been greatly enhanced. How is this possible? Is this Kaido's strength? Shudenmaru's face was filled with disbelief. He had also fought with Kaido before, but Kaido at that time was far less powerful than he is now. With the arrival of Kaido, Kaido's subordinates also followed behind him. Among the dragons, Yan Liangjin spread his wings and followed behind Kaido. During the process of sniping at Levi, those who could fly in the sky, all demon fruit powers have been completely damaged, and now he is the only one left who can fly. Levi's observation Hawkeye was fully activated, and he sensed that the entire flower city was surrounded by Kaido's men on 3 levels inside and 3 outside. Among the group of demon fruit power were more samurai troops, which were Wanakuna's guards, and now they followed Kaido to kill them. Hiori, I will take you to kill people now, please give me flowers. Levi smiled at Hiori, then he hugged Hiori's waist and flew towards the sky. Kaido, I'm here. Levi yelled at Kaido. Kaido's attention suddenly moved here, and then Levi lifted up a ball. This is the head of Kurozumi Orochi. Now that Kurozumi Orochi has been executed, why don't you hurry up and meet Princess Hiori? Levi's voice spread throughout the Flower Kingdom along with Hawkeye, and countless warriors raised their heads. Princess Hiori? Princess Hiori who has disappeared from the Kozuki family for more than 10 years? Hasn't she disappeared for more than 10 years? Both the samurai in the city and the samurai outside the city were talking about it. Under the rule of the Kozuki family, their life was very comfortable, but after Kurozumi took office, he continued to destroy farmland and build factories. All Wanakunas the samurai were all dissatisfied with Orochi, but Orochi was too powerful. Under the leadership of the remnants of the Kozuki family, they launched several uprisings, but Kurozumi Orochi and Kaido were too powerful, and all their uprisings were suppressed. Levi, you said she was Princess Hiori and she was Princess Hiori? Princess Hiori died in the turmoil long ago. Don't try to deceive these warriors, Quinn said with a sneer. Although he didn't know how Levi found Kozuki Hiori, or whether this Kozuki Hiori was real or fake, the problem now was to stabilize these samurai first. Don't listen to their nonsense, everyone just follow me. Following Quinn's lead, everyone under Kaido began to rush towards the flower capital. Hiori yelled several times, but in this noisy environment, her voice was too small. Kaido's figure kept moving among the clouds, and he was about to rush to Levi. Quiet, everyone! With Levi's loud shout, his conqueror's haki spread out of the city in an instant. The originally restless crowd fell silent instantly, and some warriors with low strength even fainted. The entire flower city became silent. Chapter 152 The Deflated Kaido. Please subscribe. Wano Kuni warriors, do you still know Yama? Hiori raised the Yama in her hand high. She loudly said, I am Kazuki Hiori of the Kazuki family. Now that my husband Levi and I have completed our revenge on the Kurozumi family, now my Kazuki family will take charge of the entire Wano Kuni again. Enma, it's Lord Kazuki Oden's sword. She really is Princess Kazuki Hiori. Although the samurai don't know Kazuki Hiori, they all know the Kazuki family's inherited treasure. This Yama, like the Kazuki Yuzan, is the inherited treasure of the Wano Kuni family. Since Wano Kuni's historical records, these two swords have always been it is on the heirs of the Kazuki family. Their meaning to the Kazuki family is like the meaning of 660 to Wano Kuni. Meet Princess Hiori. Meet Princess Hiori. The moment they saw Princess Hiori, all the warriors knelt on the ground and chanted Hiyori's name feverishly. Originally, they got the order from Kurozumi Orochi, saying that there was an enemy invasion in Wano Kuni, so they rushed to the flower capital. Now it seems that this is a contest between the old and new royal families. They are not qualified to intervene at all, and Kurozumi Orochi also destroyed got the rules. Now that the Kurozumi family has failed, the current Kazuki family has become the king of Wano Kuni again. Kurozumi Orochi is now being questioned by the entire Wano Kuni. In addition, since he came to power, he has been brutally extorting money. The entire Wano Kuni will be messed up by them. The samurai have been waiting for the revenge of the Kazuki family for a long time, but they did not expect this day to come so suddenly. Seeing that the samurai had surrendered, Hiori said loudly again, Wano Kuni samurai, now Kurozumi the snake is dead, but Kaido is still making trouble in our Wano Kuni. I now order you as the Kazuki family to Kaido's men drive out Wano Kuni. After hearing Hiori's order, the samurai picked up their samurai swords from the ground without thinking, and they began to attack Kaido's subordinates around them. This was not the end, many of them rushed out in the flower capital. People attacked Kaido's troops. They all had one thing in common, that is, they all had crescent-shaped marks on their bodies. You dare to go against Lord Kaido? You are really looking for death? Jin looked at the chaotic situation in front of him. He swooped down from the air in an instant. The entire battlefield was ignited with fire. Countless people were ignited. He did not distinguish between ourselves and the enemy, started killing. Sir, our losses will be heavy if this continues. Looking at the tragic situation of the samurai below, Hiori said anxiously to Levi. These samurai are all loyal to the Kazuki family. Now the strength of the samurai and Kaido high compared to the pirate group, they are no match for the Kaido pirate group. Then everyone lie down. Levi's eyes sharpened, and then he released all his powerful conqueror's haki. Everyone on the battlefield began to faint. In the end, except for the three disasters and Kaido, everyone else fell to the ground. How could this brat's conqueror's haki be so tyrannical? Kaido's figure was also forced back by Levi's conqueror's haki. They fought against each other more than 10 years ago, and Levi's conqueror's haki was not even 1/10 of what it is now. Even Kaido felt that 4 Emperor's Shanks, who was famous for conqueror's haki, not as good as Levi's conqueror's haki. Levi, your conqueror's haki gave me a big surprise. Compared with conqueror's haki, I don't know how much you have improved in other aspects. Kaido laughed wildly and waved his giant claw to grab Levi. It will definitely surprise you, Dabi. The 7-star sword in Levi's hand is aimed at Kaido's claws. Boom! With a loud noise, Kaido and Levi retreated at the same time, and a stream of blood emerged from Kaido's claws like a fountain. Levi's blow actually broke Kaido's defense. How can this be? The 3 disasters were shocked at the same time. How powerful Kaido's body is. No one understands the pervert of Kaido's body better than them. The 3 of them can't break through Kaido's defense even with all their strength. Now Kaido is actually injured by Levi. Ah, dead lousy. Kaido's huge figure hit the ground. He kept rolling on the ground, and the whole earth was in a mess. Fortunately, he landed outside the flower capital. If he had hit the flower capital, I'm afraid it will cause horrific casualties to Kaido. Kaido suddenly turned into a human form, and he shook his right hand again. Levi found that Kaido's wound had healed. Thunder 8 trigrams. Kaido suddenly let out a loud roar, and then hit Levi's head with the mace in his hand. Woo! Although the mace did not hit Levi's head, a strange wind from the mace had already scattered Hiori's hair. It's no use, Kaido. With Levi's sword swing, only half of the mace in Kaido's hand was left in an instant, and the half of the mace whirled and flew into the distance, collapsing a hill in the distance. Levi, are you sharpening my mace again? Kaido became angry when he saw only half of the mace left. During the last battle, Levi cut off his mace. After that, Kaido specially asked the master of Wano Kuni to make a new one for him. Mace, this is a weapon he carefully crafted. Unexpectedly, this new mace also failed to hold up in Levi's hands. After that, Kaido started fighting with Levi with his bare hands. Since Levi got the top kendo talent in 0.2, he can always see a trace of red when he looks at everything in the world. Kaido has nearly 10 on his body, and with Levi's the long sword slashed across Kaido's body, and huge wounds appeared one after another. Kaido's proud body was as fragile as tofu under Levi's sword. Kaido felt threatened by death under Levi's sword. Unlike Kaido, Levi now felt that he had entered a whole new realm. As his long sword passed by, he felt that the flowing wind was silently cut in half by him. No, we can't continue like this. You will die if you continue like this. Kaido punched Levi back, and he made a decision in his heart. Chapter 153 Kaido escapes. Wanokuna's troubles. Please subscribe. Kaido turned into a dragon body again, and the light in his mouth shone brightly. A huge light wave ball appeared in his mouth. An aura that made Levi feel frightened permeated the whole place, and this aura was still getting stronger. We must not let Kaido's attack fall into the Flower City. Levi looked at the people lying on the ground around him. If Kaido's attack fell, the entire Flower City would probably be in ruins. Levi wants a complete Wano-kuni, not a ruin. Thinking of this, Levi quickly flew towards Kaido. Kaido, I won't give you a chance. As the light waves in Kaido's mouth became brighter and brighter, Levi also approached Kaido. His sword intent was fully released, and a brilliant slash was directed towards Kaido's mouth. At the same time, Kaido's light wave ball was also directed towards Levi's slash. Spit it out. Boom. A powerful shock wave centered on them and continued to spread in all directions. At the same time, the dazzling light covered everything. The big trees were cut off by the blow, and countless pieces of soil and unconscious people were blown around. Even the three disasters were waiting for them. Unable to hold back any longer, they were blown around. After the light dissipated and the unconscious people were awakened, they saw this scene. Li Shiwei's long sword was already placed on Kaido's neck, and Kaido's whole body was covered with scars and looked very miserable. It's so possible, but Kaido actually lost. The three disasters have gone through many battles with Kaido, but even Whitebeard, who is known as the strongest man in the world, can only suppress Kaido. He can only knock Kaido unconscious with shock fruit, but the man in front of him can do this to Kaido. With severe scars, could it be said that the strength of the man in front of me has surpassed that of Whitebeard? They didn't dare to think too much about the meaning of this. The top priority now was how to rescue Kaido. Quinn rolled his eyes and suddenly laughed. Levi, the entire Flower City is now surrounded by poison gas canisters we developed. As long as I press the button in my hand, the entire Flower City will become a human world. Purgatory, you don't want this either. Levi frowned slightly, and his observation Hawkeye sensed the surroundings of the Flower Capital. Indeed, as Quinn said, there were many huge poison gas canisters around the Flower Capital. This was only visible on the surface. Behind the scenes, I don't know how many there are yet. Say your terms, Quinn, Levi said to the fat man. The answer is very simple, let us leave, and I will give you the controller of the gas tank. Is that fair, Master Levi? Quinn kept shaking the controller in his hand in front of Levi. Quinn, I remember you. Levi put the 7-star sword away from Kaido's neck. Then Kaido let out a loud roar, and he turned into a dragon again and flew away. Today he was defeated by Levi. He no longer has the shame to stay here. He needs to vent. Master Levi, starting from today, we will all evacuate Wano-kuni, Quinn said to Levi, and then he led his men away into the distance. We are victorious. We are victorious. The warriors of Wano-kuni began to cheer. They did not expect that Wano-kuni would usher in peace so soon. On the same day that Orochi died, Kaido was also defeated by Levi, and Wano-kuni once again ushered in the rule of the Kazuki family. Dragon-slaying warrior. Dragon-slaying warrior. The warriors of Wano-kuni looked at Levi with enthusiasm. The scene of Levi pointing his sword at Kaido remained in the hearts of every warrior like a brand. Among Wano-kuni, in addition to Shimotsuki Ryoma, Wano-kuni appeared again. He met a dragon-slaying warrior. Although Levi did not slay the dragon, he did have the power to slay the dragon. Konan Ko meets Princess Hiori. At this time, a big-headed doll with pink hair squeezed in, and she kept laughing at Hiori. Yes, Nanzi, we are finally free. Hiori leaned over and held her in his arms. This is my trainee girl. She is the daughter of Shimotsuki Kando, the daimyo Shimotsuki. The reason is that she ate the failed smile fruit, so she was deprived of all other expressions except the smile, he said to Levi with heartache. Levi's brows furrowed. How many people like Kananzi are there in Wano-kuni? Many, many, Hiori replied. I asked the doctors from the Drum Kingdom to come and take a look. Levi then called Wapple. Levi is the majority shareholder of the medical school. He has invested a lot of money in the Drum Kingdom in the past few years. After the medical school generated income, the national strength of the entire Sigu Kingdom flourished and it became a powerful country with rapid development of strength. During the World Summit, the kings of most countries asked Wapple for advice on how to strengthen a country, which greatly satisfied Waple's vanity. Therefore, after receiving Levi's call, Wapple was very happy. Just promised Levi that he would send the best doctor. Afterwards, Levi still felt a little uneasy, so he called Judge from the Kingdom of Germa. Judge was also an expert in studying blood factors, and he should also be able to help with this disease. Long time no see, Kuleha, you are still so beautiful. 717, boy Levi, you are still so good at talking, I am very happy. The doctors from the Drum Kingdom finally arrived at Wano Kuni a month later. To Levi's expectation, the leader was actually Luo's teacher, Kuleha, who is known as the witch. Behind her, there was also a blue-nosed doctor. Reindeer, and sitting on the back of the reindeer is a woman wearing a white dress with long golden hair. Chopper, Kaya, gone. Levi greeted them. Asshole, even if you remember me, I won't be happy. Chopper said with a red face. After a while, he seemed to think of something, and he was so frightened that he hid behind Kaya. I actually scolded a big pirate with a bounty of more than 5 billion, Chopper's heart kept beating. Kaya also smiled and said hello to Levi, and then the group of them started heading towards the flower capital. This is caused by some strange external force and is not a disease, Kuleha said to Levi solemnly after checking the patient's symptoms. I have been practicing medicine for more than 100 years, but this is the first time I have seen this situation. It is interesting. Kuleha's fighting spirit was also aroused. Chapter 154 Baby 5, Attack. Please subscribe, sir. There is nothing I can do about this situation. I study blood factors and specialize in surgery. This is not my research direction, Judge said to Levi apologetically. After receiving Levi's call, he came to Wano Kuni alone and non-stop. Now Dr. Kuleha is taking Kaya and Chopper to study the sewage in Wano Kuni. The sewage here is very harmful to the human body, and many animals are also full of toxicity because of drinking this water. They are dealing with this problem. They currently have no solution to the problem of artificial demon fruit power failure. Sir, this seems to be the work of Guy. He has been studying artificial devil fruit for the past few years, but I don't know where he is now, Judge said to Levi. Geisa, his full name is M. Geisa Current, he is a scientist of the original Naval Headquarters Scientific Force. He was expelled and wanted by the Scientific Force for conducting various inhumane experiments, and later became one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Don Quixote Doflamingo collaboration, hide in Punk Hazard. Geisa Kulong is the leader of the PH Force, whose pseudonym is CC. He has long purple-blue hair and a horn-like decoration on his head. He always turns the coat he wears into a gas form. After Judge's reminder, Levi suddenly remembered that Guy Sakuron is now the scientist who developed the artificial devil fruit. Now Levi is in Wano Kuni. The journey back and forth is too long, and Enel is still on the moon. Tetsolo is too busy now. Monet and Sugar are still assisting him. Luo has returned to North Blue. Kid and Hawkins and others have also. They were all forming their own pirate groups all over the world, and for a while Levi couldn't even think of who to send. By the way, Baby 5 and Breed, I almost forgot about them. Levi slapped his thigh. He hadn't contacted them for a long time, and he didn't know how their practice was going. Boss, long time no see. You finally remembered me. Do you have any tasks? After receiving Levi's call, Baby 5 felt very happy. After so many years, Levi finally remembered him. Levi looked at the surprised Baby 5 through the memory bug. He was also a little embarrassed. Now Baby 5 has completely become a big girl, and her figure has become more and more curvy, but her personality is still the same. How is your practice going? Levi asked Baby 5. I have now mastered all the weapons on the Machine Island, and my armament hockey and observation hockey have also reached a very advanced level. Baby 5 told Levi about her achievements in the past few years. Looking at the very happy Baby 5, Levi also felt a little unbearable. He had ignored this girl all these years, and she didn't complain at all. Baby 5, you and Breed go to Punk Hazard, and you go and capture a scientist named CC. Afterwards, Levi showed Baby 5 the reward order for Guy Sakuron. Understood, boss, I promised to complete the task. Baby 5 saluted Levi, and then she ran out in a hurry. This girl. Levi couldn't help laughing when he looked at the hot-tempered Baby 5. This girl's temperament has not changed at all over the years. Uncle Breed, it's time to work. Baby 5 ran outside and shook Breed, who was sunbathing on the beach chair. Afterwards, Baby 5 used her fruit power to build a steel battleship, and the two headed towards Punk Assad. Punk Hazard had become an empty city due to the poisonous gas leakage incident. The two arrived here smoothly. Seeing the purple poisonous gas covering the entire island, Breed was in trouble. Look at me. Baby 5 smiled confidently at Breed, and then the cannons on the steel giant ship began to fire. Boom boom boom. Baby 5 began to carpet bomb the entire island. With the gunfire all over the sky, all the purple poisonous mist began to be blown away. Hey, Baby 5, Boss Levi asked us to arrest that mad scientist Geisa Current. Don't blow him up. Looking at the artillery fire everywhere, Breed's eyelids twitched. Don't worry, Uncle Breed. This is a pressure bomb. It seems very powerful, but most of it is airwaves. I am here to blow up the poisonous gas on the island. Baby 5 smiled at Breed, said. Whoa, 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 whoosh. It seems that guests are coming to the island. Guys, please greet them well. Naturally, Geisa Current was alarmed by Baby 5's cannon. He saw the anchor at the port through the image bug. That giant ship, so he ordered to his men. We will entertain them well. A group of big men whose upper bodies were human and whose lower bodies were animals, holding various weapons in their hands, let out ferocious laughs. Following Gaius's order, they all scattered towards Punk Hazard. With the constant bombardment of Baby 5, the purple mist in Punk Hazard became thinner at a speed visible to the naked eye. Only when the mist was basically invisible did she stop. Let's take action, Uncle Breed. Baby 5's steel battleship stopped bombarding Punk Hazard, and then a 10-meter high steel giant stood up from the ship. Baby 5, this is the mecha that Vegapunk guessed. You were actually able to use the weapon fruit to make it. It's really amazing, the money is good. Breed looked at the behemoth in front of him with envy. Every man was envious. There is a mecha dream, and Breed is no exception. Baby 5's mecha is all pink. The most important thing is that the head of this mecha looks like an enlarged version of Baby. Although Breed also wants to try to pilot this mecha, it looks so feminine. Mecha, he wisely gave up the idea. Boom, boom. Every step Baby 5's mecha takes will cause the entire ground to tremble continuously. What kind of monster is this? The pirates who rushed out were stunned, and their grins were also on their lips. They did not expect to face such an opponent. Run away. All the pirates only hated Guy for not giving them 2 extra legs. The pirates who rushed out dispersed in the blink of an eye. Chapter 155. Conquering the Fire Dragon and the Salamander. Please customize, please order in full. What is going on? Baby 5 felt confused. The cannon in her hand had begun to light up. Unexpectedly, these pirates began to run away, and these pirates all had animal bodies and looked very strange. It's strange. Do not care. The cannon in Baby 5's hand gave off a burst of light, and then all the fleeing pirates were killed by her cannon. So strong. Guy Sakuran saw this scene through the memory weevil, and his eyeballs suddenly popped out of his sockets. He thought it was just some small characters coming, but what he didn't expect was a dragon crossing the river. Ouch. A loud roar caught the attention of Breed and Baby 5, and a huge red dragon flew down from the sky. The dragon made a loud noise when it landed on the ground. Haha, it's a big stupid dragon, we can be saved. The surviving pirates hiding aside were all pleasantly surprised. This dragon seemed to be the guard of Punk Hazard. It patrolled the territory every day and killed all living creatures it could see. This dragon looks extremely ferocious, with a row of barbs on its long 960-degree tail. Its huge wings are retracted, and a fiery red substance is constantly brewing in its mouth. A stream of fiery red fire spurted out from its mouth in front of Baby 5, and the place where they were standing turned into a sea of fire in the blink of an eye. Now they are finished. The flames of this big stupid dragon have thousands of degrees. The pirates began to laugh in the dark. Uncle Breed, are you okay? When the fire dragon's breath came over, Breed's heart was full of despair. He thought he was dead, but he didn't expect that Baby 5 Jong Ran blocked the flames. At this moment, Baby 5 is holding a large shield in his hand. The shield is very large and covers all of Baby 5's mechas. The large shield has been burned red, but the 2 of them are unscathed. This is a dragon. Breed's eyes were full of enthusiasm as he looked at the creature in front of him. He is an animal lover. During the battle with Marineford, although he controlled all the beasts, there was no dragon among them, and now there is only one alive. BFDF. A living dragon appeared beside him. Leave it to me, Baby 5. Breed said with a smile to Baby 5, and then he flew into the sky on Moonwalk. Be my pet, little cutie. A ring appeared in Breed's hand. As his hand touched the neck of the fire dragon, the green ring suddenly enlarged and wrapped around the neck of the fire dragon. Superior. Then something happened that surprised Guy Sakuran's men. The fire dragon first kept wailing in pain on the ground, and then it surrendered at the feet of the fat man. It looked as cute as a pug, not like a pug. Like a dragon. I didn't expect this fat man to be the most troublesome, but I misjudged it. I informed him to let Staley deal with them. Guy Sakalong ordered to his pirates. You are so cute, let me call you Zhao Hong from now on. Breed happily stroked the head of the red dragon in front of him. Then he rode on Zhao Hong and Baby 5 and continued to move forward. Uncle, have you noticed that the purple poisonous gas seems to be gathering again? Baby 5 said to Breed, and at the same time, she fired a few more cannonballs from her shoulders to disperse the poisonous gas. Then a monster made entirely of poisonous gas appeared in front of the 2 of them. It was an animal that looked like a salamander and was made entirely of poisonous gas. The fire dragon Zhao Hong seemed to have a grudge against this animal. As soon as it appeared, the fire dragon roared, and then breathed towards the monster. Boom. The violent explosion completely cut off everyone's sight. After the explosion, something happened that surprised Baby 5 and Breed. The purple liquid began to gather, and then the monster successfully reassembled. This is a monster that is almost immortal. It is really a perfect pet. Breed looked at the monster in front of him with fascinated eyes, and then he drove Zhao Hong to the monster again. A green ring was placed around its neck. No matter how the poisonous gas changed its form, it was eaten to death by Breed. Uncle, can you control the poisonous gas? Baby 5 was shocked. She could tell that the poisonous gas was made by someone who ate one of Zone's devil fruits by some means. She didn't expect that Breed could even control the poisonous gas. Conquer. Breed laughed heartily. Theoretically, I have no way to deal with the poisonous gas, but when the poisonous gas takes on its own form, I will be able to deal with it. At this moment, the poisonous gas monster squatted obediently in front of Breed, and the fire dragon in front of him still roared at it. It was obvious that they had a grudge before. Zhao Hong, be good, let him be your little brother from now on. Breed stroked Zhao Hong's head and comforted her. The red dragon tilted its head and thought for a long time, and finally it circled around the salamander arrogantly. How is this possible? Even Smiley was conquered by this fat man. Guy's eyes were bloodshot. Smiley was his best trump card. He didn't expect it to be conquered so easily. Smiley is the result of Guy's research. He used high technology to compress the H2S poison gas that invaded Punk Hazard and created a poisonous gas monster. Geisa named him Bram, and then Geisa used high-tech means to make the poisonous gas eat zone devil fruit. Salamander fruit. This is a scientific conjecture made by Guy. If it can be successful, Guy will have another big killer weapon in his hands. My brainchild. Guy couldn't help but walk around in distress. His eyes were bloodshot. Smiley was his trump card. Now that his trump card has been conquered, his situation is very dangerous. If he doesn't take some measures, he will be killed. The two were captured. No, I will never allow this to happen. Guy thought of this and took out a phone bug. Hey, Joker, I've got a big trouble here. Please send someone to deal with it quickly. Guy Sakurong's tone was full of anxiety. Really, Vergo is over there. He will take care of it. Doflamingo's calm voice came over the phone, and Geisa felt a little relieved. Chapter 156. Vergo arrives. Please customize. Please order in full. Haha, come and play. Baby 5 and Breed looked at each other, and their eyes were full of solemnity. Whether it was the fire-breathing dragon or this poisonous salamander, they were both very strong monsters, and they didn't know what was ahead. What kind of monster is that? Are these giants? Breed asked with some surprise. He has also seen the giants several times. Many of the children in front of him look like giants in height, but they feel that they are somewhat different from the giants. They're just ordinary humans. Baby 5's eyes shot out several rays of light for scanning. The bones of these children were very fragile and could not be compared with the giants' bodies that could be called steel and iron bones. Moreover, the bodies of these children seemed to be like this for some reason. Seeing Baby 5 and Breed suddenly burst in, the children were immediately frightened and cried. The fire dragon and poisonous salamander were so ugly that all the children in the room immediately started crying. Children, where do you come from? Baby 5 said to these children in a friendly manner. But these children just cried together, and no one paid attention to her at all. No one is allowed to cry. I will let the fire dragon eat whoever cries. Breed roared fiercely, and at the same time, the fire dragon behind him moved his head closer and roared at them. Breed's method worked as expected. After understanding, they were all children from this area. They were all trafficked here by human traffickers, and in the past few years, their bodies had gradually grown in size. Baby 5 and Breed immediately understood that these children were Geisa's test subjects. Children, just wait here. After my sister beats the bad guys away, will she take you to get medical treatment? Baby 5 said to these children in a gentle voice. Really? That's great, all the children cheered. Afterwards, Breed left the fire-breathing dragon Zhao Hong to protect the children, and they continued to move towards the laboratory. Perhaps because they were about to find Guy, the transformed pirates began to attack them crazily. They seemed to have lost their minds, but under the cannons of Baby 5, they were all blown up before they could rush over. Fragments. They are coming soon. Come and save me. Geisa looked at the enemies getting closer and closer, praying constantly in his heart. The enemy this time was too strong, and he had no good means of restraining the enemy. Boom. In Geisa's prayer room, the door to his laboratory was blown open. Geisa stiffly turned his head to the door, and he saw Baby 5 and Breed. That's right, he is the mad scientist Geisa Current. A reward order appeared in Breed's hand. He looked at Geisa Kulon carefully for a long time and finally said with certainty. Geisa Kulon originally wanted to quibble, but faced with his reward order, he had nothing to say. Go to hell. Look at my neurotoxin. Geisa Kulon took out a rocket launcher and shot at them. This is his latest successfully developed neurotoxin. No matter how strong it is, as long as it is contaminated with a little, you will be unable to move. How so? Geisa Kulon was about to cry without tears. When the shell was fired, Smiley jumped up from behind Breed, and then it swallowed the rocket. Follow us obediently, Geisa Kulon. A green circle appeared in Breed's hand, and then the green circle was tightened in an instant. Baby 5, let's take these children to Wano-kuni first. They live too scattered, and we don't have time to escort them. Breed suggested to Baby 5. At this moment they have reached the coast. Behind them, children of all sizes are following them. Everyone is happy to hear that they can go home. It seems a ship is coming. Baby 5's expression moved slightly, and her eyes looked into the distance. At this moment, a marine warship was slowly approaching here. We have a solution. We can hand them over to Marine. The baby's eyes suddenly lit up. Looking at the warship slowly approaching in the distance, Breed frowned. Breed was an old pirate. His many years of experience told him that the timing of this warship's arrival was really a coincidence. It's not good. Please give me flowers, pirates. First Marine Vice Admiral Vergo, why don't you just surrender and capture me? On the marine warship, a big man holding a piece of bamboo and wearing sunglasses said to them. This big man was extremely strange. He had lightning-shaped overlapping corners on his cheeks, and there were 10 beef patties stuck to the corners of his mouth. These children have been trafficked. Can you send them all back? Baby saw Marine rushing towards them. She hurriedly defended Marine. Baby 5 has been abandoned by her mother since she was a child. She knows how painful it is to be without a mother, so she cares so much about these children. Vergo ordered. They are all cadres under the command of the great pirate Levi. Each of them is a great pirate with a bounty of over 100 million. Each of them is guilty of serious crimes. These children are their accomplices. Kill them all. Get rid of it. With a thought in Breed's mind, the poisonous salamander rushed towards the Marines, and colorless poisonous gas was continuously released from the mouth of the poisonous salamander. The Marines were all knocked over by the poisonous gas before they could react. What a bunch of trash, I have to take action myself. Vergo's woolen coat fell to the ground, and his whole body turned dark. Then he strode towards Baby 5 and Breed. Baby 5, let's face it, we are still colleagues. I am the first generation of the Doflamingo family. When Vergo walked towards Baby 5 and others, he told Baby 5 the secret. Ah, how could? When she was in the Doflamingo family, she had heard that Doflamingo's younger brother Rosinante was the second-generation heart, and Luo was the heart prepared for the third generation, but they both met Mr. Levi, and they all became Mr. G Wei's subordinates. At the moment when Baby 5 was lost, Vergo's eyes flashed, and the bamboo stick in his hand was suddenly wrapped by armament hockey. He swung countless sticks in an instant, and Baby 5's mecha was beaten to pieces in the blink of an eye, fell to the ground. You dare to be distracted during the battle, you were so stupid, Baby 5. The bamboo stick in Vergo's hand pointed at her mecha. At this moment, Vergo's tone was full of ridicule. Chapter 157 An Unexpected Surprise. Please customize, please order in full. Now it's your turn, fatty. Once I get rid of you, I can call it a day. The bamboo stick in Vergo's hand pointed at Breed. In the induction just now, Baby 5's momentum was far stronger than that of the fatty. That's why he didn't hesitate to reveal his identity to distract Baby 5, and he succeeded in one blow. Are you happy too soon? Breed looked at Vergo with a look full of mockery. Although Vergo's abacus was very good, he didn't know the extent of Baby 5's strength. No one knows better than Breed how hard Baby 5 has worked in practice over the years. You are actually the first generation. No wonder Mr. Rosinante is the second generation. Baby 5's voice came from the mecha. Afterwards, Baby 5's mecha rotated and deformed, and the brand new 890 mecha stood in front of Vergo again. This mecha is a masterpiece of Vegapunk's conjecture. How could it be damaged by Vergo so easily? Since you are the first generation heart, and I was once a member of the Dolphin family, I won't use this mecha to bully you today. As soon as Baby 5 finished speaking, she stood up from the mecha, but she also had a steel armor on her body at the moment. Come on, Vergo said to Baby 5 with a stick in his hand. Behind Baby, a flash of fire appeared, and then Baby 5's figure suddenly appeared next to Vergo. Before he could react, he was punched away by Baby 5. After that, Vergo's figure did not land. Under the action of the propeller behind her, Baby 5's speed was already full of ghosts, and 7 or 8 Baby 5 figures appeared in the sky. How is it possible? Vergo is a man with Vice Admiral strength. Guy's eyes were full of surprise. A Vice Admiral level combat power was vulnerable in the hands of Baby 5. Could it be that this young beauty in front of him actually had a relationship with him? Admiral's fighting strength? Mr. Vergo, you have lost. A long knife appeared in Baby 5's hand. At this moment, her long knife was directly at Vergo's throat, and Vergo's glasses had been knocked off. He was bleeding from his mouth and nose and fell to the ground unable to get up. How could I lose? How could I lose in your hands? Vergo kept roaring, but his body was too badly injured and he couldn't get up at all. Let's go, Uncle Breed. Let's go to Wano-kuni. Baby 5 put away the knife, and then she took the children towards Wano-kuni. What, Vergo, you were defeated? When he received the news from Vergo, Doflamingo was also distracted. She had seen Baby 5 since she was a child, and Doflamingo also knew how strong she was, so he dared send Vergo to rescue Geisa. Vergo is one of the top 3 powerful beings in the family. Doflamingo has always had high hopes for him, so he sent Vergo to Marine as an undercover agent. In fact, Vergo has lived up to his high expectations. In just a few years, Vergo has reached the level of Vice Admiral, and Vergo's combat power is also ranked among the top among Vice Admirals. I didn't expect that he would be defeated by Baby 5. There was a hint of gloom in Doflamingo's hands. He remembered what he said when he first met Levi. Luo said that he wanted to seek justice from him. Now that Baby 5 already has such strength, he is much stronger than Baby 5. How far has Luo reached? It's getting funnier. Doflamingo suddenly laughed. The next day, a piece of news spread around the world again with news birds. The great pirate Levi was conducting inhumane human experiments in Punk Hazard and abducting children nearby. When Marine Vice Admiral Vergo discovered their conspiracy, they also brutally wounded Vergo Vice Admiral. The reward for Baby 5, the main culprit in this incident, instantly soared to 500 million Baileys, and the reward for another accomplice, Breed, also rose to 300 million Baileys. This is Levi's first move on the sea after many years of silence. Although this time it was just a small fight, all the big pirates smelled a very different aura of seeking love. Boss, we're here. After a long journey, Baby 5 and Breed have arrived at Wano Kuni. In addition to Geisa, they also brought the children here. Levi, you are Levi, the great pirate with a bounty of 5 billion Baileys. Geisa was almost scared to death now. He had heard of Levi's name, and he knew that he was coming to Wano Kuni, so he naturally knew why Levi wanted to capture him. You know why I'm looking for you, Geisa? Levi looked at Geisa with a smile. Being stared at by Levi, Guy's forehead was covered in cold sweat. Levi was indeed looking for him for the artificial devil fruit. Sir, the success rate of my artificial devil fruit is not very high. Of course, you still need to provide me with some devil fruit. Guy smiled dryly at Levi. You misunderstood, Geisa. I came to you to help you relieve the side effects of devil fruit. Because of you, many people in Wano Kuni have become monsters who can only laugh. This matter happened because of you. Come on, you have to solve it perfectly. Do you understand, Geisa? Levi said to Guy. Guy's forehead was covered with cold sweat. He originally thought that after Levi fought with Kaido, he saw the power of artificial devil fruit and wanted to make artificial devil fruit. Now it seems that Levi wants his life. Geisa is only responsible for researching the side effects of artificial devil fruit, but he has not done any research at all. Master Levi, don't worry about 0.6, I will definitely develop it. Geisa smiled dryly at Levi. Hey, what are you doing? The warriors exclaimed, and Levi and others discovered that it was Breed's new poisonous salamander. This guy climbed to the poison gas tank left by Quinn. Then it swallowed the poisonous gas. This is an unexpected surprise. Levi was originally worried about how to deal with these poisonous gases. It is perfect for this guy to swallow these poisonous gases. This is a pollution-free disposal method, and it can also increase the toxicity of this guy. Breed, take this guy and clean up all the gas canisters, Levi said to Breed. Promise to complete the mission, boss. Breed took the poisonous salamander and headed towards other sources of poisonous gas. Chapter 158. Prologue to the Shocking Wedding, please subscribe. After that, the entire sea became calm again. After day and night research, Geisa finally solved the problem of the sequelae of the artificial devil fruit. After that, he was taken away by Judge, adding to Levi's strength. On this day, a piece of news made the whole sea boil again. Driven by the big news Morgans, the whole sea knew the news. Levi is getting married. The news spread throughout the world in one day. Whether it was Marine's headquarters, Marineford, or the Fishmen Island 10,000 meters below the sea, everyone knew that Levi would be held on Angel Island in a month. Wedding. Levi is actually going to hold a wedding. Isn't there some conspiracy behind this? Sengoku was holding a newspaper in his office and muttering to himself. The newspaper said that Levi was going to marry the pirate empress Boa Hancock, the current general of Wano Kuni, Hikari Freewa. Hancock is the emperor of 9 snakes, which is equivalent to Levi already having countless warriors who can hockey. Every one of 9 snakes warriors can hockey. Kazuki Hiori is the ruler of Wano Kuni. Sengoku still remembers the terror of the 15 swordsmen of Wano Kuni. Back then, under the leadership of the dragon-slaying samurai Ryoma, they defeated the world government coalition forces with slashes all over the sky. The swordsman's attack power was the most terrifying. This is equivalent to Levi having countless swordsmen. Now Levi's subordinate, Gilder Tetsolo, known as the Golden Emperor, has controlled nearly 20% of the world's wealth, and the annual talent show he holds attracts beauties from all over the world. Last year's champion, Karina, was an ordinary girl in East Blue. With her beauty and beautiful singing voice, under the control of the Golden Emperor, she made countless people crazy every time she performed. The Kingdom of Germa is a technological powerhouse, and their cloned soldier technology is still top secret. The world government has asked them for it many times without success, and Levi has cooperated with the Kingdom of Germa many years ago. Unknowingly, has Levi's strength reached such a level? Sengoku was immediately shocked. Levi's power is no weaker than the 4 emperors, and even more terrifying than the 4 emperors. No, Levi's wedding must be a conspiracy, we must find a way to destroy it, Sengoku said angrily. Sengoku, there is no conspiracy, this is just a wedding. Crane Vice Admiral leisurely picked up the teacup and took a sip of black tea. How do you know? Sengoku was stunned. This is a woman's intuition. Even if there is really a conspiracy, how can you attack Sky Island? He asked with a white look. Sengoku is a straight man, otherwise Vice Admiral Crane would not have been alone all his life. The most glorious moment in a woman's life is her wedding, so naturally it will be grand, and only a straight man like Sengoku would think too much about it. Levi is not the cruel old witch from Big Mom. Judging from Levi's behavior over the years, he disdains conspiracy on this kind of thing. Gla la la la, is that kid Levi getting married? Prepare a generous gift for me. I will go and congratulate him in person. On the Moby Dick, Whitebeard laughed boldly. The sea had been silent for many years. This time Levi made such a big noise, and Whitebeard wanted to join in the fun. Monet, Barbara, how much cash do we have? Let us spend 70% of it to buy the boss's wedding. I want to make the boss's wedding the most luxurious wedding in the world. Above the world's largest entertainment city, Tetsolo was wearing the most luxurious dress. Levi did not deceive him. Now he has become the richest man in the world, and now he wants to repay Levi. Okay, I understand. Monet's face was full of coldness. Tetsulo was startled for a moment. He knew that Monet also liked Levi. Even a woman would like a person as good as Levi. Brother Levi is getting married, we must go and join in the fun, on an island in the New World. Red Hair and others were still having a banquet. Red Hair was holding the newspaper in his hand and said happily. At the same time, all the Red Hair pirates responded enthusiastically. Levi is married, how can he marry a woman other than me? In the kingdom of Talent, the newspaper in Smoothie's hand had been smashed into a ball by her. She almost became Levi's wife back then, now she could only watch. Mom said, you can leave Cake Island to defend the kingdom of Torrent. Cracker and I will go and congratulate you. Katakuri looked at the sister who was about to turn black in front of him, and he couldn't bear it. After all, this matter was too cruel to her. Levi is getting married, Lousy is going to Sky Island to join in the fun, otherwise others will think that lousy Kaido is afraid of him. Kaido picked up the wine bottle and took a big gulp of wine. After being defeated by Levi, Kaido started a tough battle of practice. The boss is getting married. Captain, the boss is getting married. What gift should I prepare? Devil's Delta State, Moria was awakened by Perona 423. Is this boy Levi getting married? Moria looked at the newspaper with emotion. He met Levi when he challenged Kaido for the first time. At that time, Levi was a popular newcomer on the sea. At that time, he was entrusted with Perona. Everyone is afraid of offending Kaido, only Levi is not afraid. In the end, he failed to challenge Kaido. Because of Perona, Levi also had a fight with Kaido, with no outcome. After that, Moria fought a second battle with Kaido in Wano-kuni, and was defeated again. After that, he had become afraid of Kaido, and he no longer thought about how to strengthen himself. Instead, he went around collecting the corpses of strong men. How did I become like this? Moria couldn't help but burst into tears looking at the fat on his body. Levi was still the same Levi, but Moria was no longer the same Moria. Captain, why are you crying? Perona tilted her head and looked at Moria. I'm just happy, happy. Moria wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes and said to her. The next day, the four emperors jointly issued an announcement that shocked the whole world. In order to celebrate Levi's marriage, within this month, all pirates banned all plundering, and the four emperors would punish the offenders. Chapter 159. The receptionist smiled. Please order it yourself, please order it in full. Soon, 1 month has passed, and Levi's wedding has attracted the attention of the whole world. Below Sky Island, the vicinity of Guy Island has already been surrounded by the four emperors' troops. Looking from a distance, Whitebeard's Moby Dick and the red-haired Redmans were among them. It is no exaggeration to say that pirates with a bounty of less than 1 billion are too embarrassed to go forward. Does Levi look down on me so much that he actually sent a blind man to receive me? Whitebeard looked condescendingly at the downcast man with short black hair in front of him. There was an X scar on this man's eyes. It seemed that this wound made him blind. Sir Edward, wait a moment. Mr. Kaido is not here yet. He is here, let's get ready to leave. The blind man seemed not to feel the pressure from Whitebeard, and still said to him with a smile. In less than a moment, Kaido turned into a divine dragon and flew over the horizon with Tan Disaster. With this level of observation hockey, you shouldn't be a nobody. Whitebeard looked at the blind man again. He didn't even sense Kaido's aura, but the blind man in front of him did, indicating that the blind man's observation hockey was far above him. Although Whitebeard is not dedicated to practicing observation hockey, as a four emperors, he is not comparable to cats and dogs. The blind man in front of him is definitely not simple. What's your name, blind man? Whitebeard asked him. My name is Yishao. Yishao grinned, looking very honest. Whitebeard's eyes were sharp, and his conqueror's hockey instantly pressed against Yishao's body. Yishao felt something, and a depressing aura also emanated from his body. Sir Whitebeard, are you going to cause trouble? The ground in front of Yishao sank slightly, and Yishao also showed a hint of aura at this moment. He looked like a strong man now. This aura, this guy is a monster. On the Moby Dick, the expressions of Marco, Josie and others changed drastically, and they could feel it. The unknown blind man in front of them is definitely 10 monsters with terrifying combat power. Yishao, you are so strong, who stabbed your eyes blind? Whitebeard asked. Yishao's strength won his recognition. Yishao's aura seems to be very calm and unfathomable, which shows that his strength has been improved bit by bit through his own hard training. Such a strong man can still be stabbed blind. The enemy of Yishao, how terrible it must be. I saw too many terrible things when I was young, so I blinded myself. Yishao still looked like he was smiling. Whitebeard, Red Hair and others were immediately in awe of Yishao. To be able to do such a cruel thing to him, this guy is absolutely extraordinary. Accepting guests is the most direct way for a force to show its skills, so those who dared to take this role must be the top 3 in the force's combat power. Whitebeard and others thought that Levi would send Enel or Tetsulo to play this role. Levi didn't send the two of them, but sent a blind man, so Whitebeard felt that Levi looked down on him, and he was a little angry. It's a blessing not to be able to see things. There are too many despicable people in the world that people can't bear to look at. Yi Xiao still looked that simple and honest, but no one dared to look down on him anymore. Boom! With a loud noise, Kaido appeared on stage. At this moment, he saw white beard and red hair surrounding a blind man in the middle. He couldn't help but smiled excitedly. Do you want to fight, Levi? Count me in. Okay, since everyone is here now, let's go, Yi Xiao laughed. Afterwards, as he put his cane on the ground, purple light waves spread, and then the entire Guy Island flew up. It's too exaggerated. This is an island. The pirates who were watching on the outside saw Guy Island flying into the sky. They all opened their mouths in surprise. They wanted to see how Levi would bring these big pirates up to the sky, but they didn't expect it to be so exaggerated. Is this the golden lion's lion fruit? No, this is somewhat different from the lion fruit. When it started floating on the island, Whitebeard thought it was the lion fruit. After feeling it, he found that this fruit was still the same as the lion fruit, different. My fruit is called gravity fruit, not lion fruit. Yi Xiao turned around and explained to them with a smile. Seeing how effortless he looked, obviously he is still far from reaching his limit. Blind man, you are very strong. Let's fight, lousy. Kaido looked at the smile in front of him, and his fighting spirit was suddenly aroused again. Kaido, don't do anything stupid. Whitebeard and the redhead yelled at him at the same time, and Kaido gave up his idea. The entire island continued to rise along the sky, and in the blink of an eye they passed through the thick white clouds and arrived at the White Sea. I didn't expect that. I haven't been to Sky Island for many years, but Sky Island was transformed into this by Levi. What a trick! Whitebeard couldn't help but sigh with emotion when he looked at the dreamlike scene in front of him. Above the White Sea, there are Sky Islanders with white wings riding on strange vehicles that are constantly shuttling back and forth. There is also a large ship in the center, and there are some old men in robes standing on it. As they cast spells, the entire White Sea was made into beautiful shapes. These are the meteorologists from Visalia. Each of them is a knowledgeable person. Yi Xiao explained to them with a smile. Now it seems that an easygoing smile is the most suitable for this. Qian Li's role. Although Tetsolo is all around smart, he has a kind of pampered arrogance, while Enel is purely a cold-blooded mentally retarded child. As the island approached, 2 rows of soldiers wearing berets stood in 2 rows to welcome them. These soldiers stretched from the distance in front of them to the island in the endless distance. It's okay for big pirates like Whitebeard and Red Hair who have seen the sights of Sky Island. Most people have only heard of the legend of Sky Island, and it is their first time to visit this place. The buildings on Sky Island are completely different from those on the sea. The buildings in front of them are built by clouds and shells. This is a civilization that belongs to clouds and shells. Under the replanning by Visalia scholars, the entire Sky Island architecture became even more dreamy. The pirates who came to celebrate on the island also walked carefully above the clouds, for fear of destroying this dreamy pure land. Chapter 160. A wedding that attracts worldwide attention. Please customize, please order in full. Somewhere in an unknown place on Sky Island, this 9-story building is currently surrounded by vigilant 9 snake warriors patrolling. This is where their Emperor Boa Hancock is, so they can't help but take notice. Levi, I am so happy. Hancock was wearing a white wedding dress. She felt that her life was very happy at the moment. She had imagined this scene countless times in her dreams, and it finally came true today, her wish. Levi, please bring Hiori over. I'm not a stingy woman. It's unfair to Hiori's sister. Hancock leaned against Levi and said to him. Fool, it's unfair to you that I did this, and now you still take care of me like this. Levi stroked her hair distressed-edly. Afterwards, the two of them had a moment of tenderness. Hancock pushed Levi out of the room without any explanation and asked him to go find Hiori. Levi did what he could, of course. Hiori was placed in the small Sky Island Visalia by Levi. Now Visalia has become a prosperous place after many years of management. These meteorologists not only study the natural climate, but they are also more suitable for growing green plants. There are green plants spreading everywhere throughout Visalia. Against the backdrop of the green plants, the place becomes very elegant. Hiori fell in love with it as soon as she arrived. Sir Levi, are you here? Shunmaru bowed to Levi. After Levi beat Kaido away, he became Levi's retainer. After Levi left Wano-kuni, he stayed in Wano-kuni to protect Hiori. Hiori, here I come. Levi looked at Hiori in amazement. Hiori was now wearing a traditional Wano-kuni wedding dress, and she was extremely beautiful. After chatting with Shunmaru for a few words, he came to Hiori's room. Although in Levi's feeling, Hiori was more grateful to him than emotion. Hiori really became a wife in front of him. The duties that should be fulfilled are impeccable in all aspects. The next day was Levi's wedding day, and the pirates on Sky Island all witnessed this grand event. As Tesoro snapped his fingers, endless gold flowed along both sides of the White Sea. In less than a moment, a road made entirely of gold appeared in front of everyone. As expected of the Golden Emperor, it's really a big deal. All the pirates sighed inwardly. They could see that this was a vision created by the awakening of Tesoro's golden fruit. He was in the White Sea. A road was created entirely made of gold. Golden fruit, what a pity. At this moment, Doflamingo looked at the scene among the projection insects and was full of emotion. The golden fruit was a gimmick he created for Tisha's own fame. Unexpectedly, it was snatched away by Levi. Now the golden fruit is displayed by Tezzolo. Doflamingo was even more heartbroken to see this kind of vision that was almost like turning stone into gold. Tezzolo's golden fruit has indeed awakened. I'm afraid Marine has another difficult enemy. Sengoku also saw this scene in the projection bug, and he thought more. As Levi is a pirate, he will definitely have a fight with Marine. Tezzoro is Levi's subordinate, and Sengoku is already thinking of ways to restrain him. This time Levi got married. Tezzolo spent a huge amount of money to install video weevils on all the islands. Levi's wedding was broadcast live around the world. Levi promised Hancock to give her a wedding that attracted worldwide attention, and now he has done it. After that, petals all over the sky began to fall. These were not real petals. This was a new technology created by Baby 5 that combined the technology of the machine island and the moon. Baby called it BFE, holographic projection. At this moment, the whole world felt like they were watching a blockbuster movie. As the petals fell from the sky, two large ships with their own styles slowly came along the Golden Road. Wano Kuni is indeed the country of gold that everyone recognizes. After Kaido's tyranny of Orochi, they were able to build a huge golden battleship with their own national strength. Thousands of thunders. Following Enel's low roar, various white or purple beautiful birds appeared in the sky. The birds all over the sky intertwined with each other in the sky, and there were also little bits of thunder that bloomed like fireworks. Levi stood in the center of Sky Island, and then two large ships slowly approached Levi, and finally they docked here at the same time. Boss, congratulations. Behind the two newlyweds, Nami, New Okagao, Monet, Sugar, Perona, Vivi and others were all dressed as bridesmaids, and they surrounded the two newlyweds. At this moment, both newcomers looked incredibly beautiful. Kazuki Hiori, who had never shown her beauty outside of Wano Kuni, immediately conquered everyone's hearts. So beautiful, sister. Shirahoshi was also watching this scene in the Fishmen Island under the 10,000-meter deep sea. Her eyes were filled with twinkling little stars. It was obvious that she was also very excited about this wedding, its longing. After the opening of the Golden City in Tezzoro, many of the fishmen worked as maids in the Golden City because of their unique beauty. Not only could they appreciate the scenery on the sea, but most importantly, they could act honestly, walk brightly before the world. Levi also promised Shirahoshi to officially take her to travel on the sea when she reaches adulthood. As expected of senior Levi, in East Blue Logue Town, there was a guy with a green comb head crying in excitement. This guy's name is Bartolomeo. He is a rising star in the Eric Guild, and he is considered a powerful player in the entire East Blue, one of the best existences. Behind him, there stood a silent young man wearing a monocle. This guy was Supersonic Van Oka. It was only today that their president Eric told them that they were also Levi's force. At this moment in West Blue's Flower Country, the entire Babao Sailor Army is also setting up a banquet to wait for Levi's wedding to be over and start celebrating. North Blue Germa Kingdom. Judge looked at the grand wedding in front of him through the phone and sighed. The strength of the Germa Kingdom is still too weak. Reiju has been with Levi for so long, and she is not qualified to be his wife. Luo, Hawkins, and Kid are forming their own pirate group, so they have not gone back. At this moment, they are also celebrating Levi's wedding. This wedding attracted worldwide attention. Chapter 161. Visit East Blue again, please customize, please order in full. After this grand wedding, Levi went on their honeymoon with Hancock and Kazuki Hiori. They seemed to disappear over the sea, and no one knew where they went. After they visited Sky Island, they went to the Fishmen Island, and after visiting the Fishmen Island, they went to Sabodi Archipelago. Hancock fully played the role of a big sister, and she took Hiori to enjoy the beautiful scenery of the Grand Line. They appreciated art in Dressrosa, the city of passion and art, watched the sunset at Alabasta, a desert pearl, watched dinosaurs on the prehistoric island known as Little Garden, and saw giant whales spouting water in the Twin Gorges. The most famous attraction in East Blue is the Delati Bar on the sea. The chef there, Tetsuo, has some friendship with me, and now Nako is interning there. Let's go there to eat. Levi smiled at them said. Naturally, the two women agreed with his decision. Hancock had long heard Levi say that Tetsuo's cooking skills were amazing, and he could finally have a meal today. As for Hiori, she was a foodie, and she had long been attracted by this man above the sea. Conquered by all kinds of delicious food, now her eyes are shining. After that, they came to Delati. Their arrival was warmly welcomed by all the chefs, so the chefs started to clear the place. One marine was unwilling to leave, so he just asked the chefs to throw them out. Nokagao was very happy, and she did not expect that Levi would come to see her. In order to let Levi and the others taste her craftsmanship, Nokagao used all her skills, and Jeffu also cooked several dishes for Levi and others. Suddenly, Levi's table was filled with fragrant dishes. Nuachigao's cuisine has a passionate taste. All kinds of flavors can be fully felt by the taste buds when the food is eaten, and will be amplified to the limit. Tetsuo's cuisine has a taste of time. Although the food tastes very bland, the more you taste it, the more fragrant it becomes. For a moment, Levi and the three of them felt very satisfied. Nojio, where is Sanji? Levi asked curiously. Usually whenever a beautiful woman comes to this restaurant, he is the first one to show up. Today, two beautiful women arrived, but Sanji did not show up. Really? A strange thing. 2 freeloading pirates came today, and now Sanji is teaching them a lesson. Noki laughed. No one is allowed to move. While Levi and others were enjoying their meal, a man holding a double-barreled shotgun appeared in the restaurant. This man was wearing a gray and white sportswear and a green half-sleeve. He looked very cold and inhumane. Levi recognized it. This was the ghost man Akin. Things are getting interesting. Levi just wants to eat, but now it seems that he can still watch the fun. Now that Ajin has appeared, Krieg and Hawkeye will soon appear. As soon as he finished speaking, a big man appeared behind Ajin, and the chef named Patty took action. Patty punched Ajin in the back. Ajin fell down and broke the table. Patty dragged the unconscious Ajin out of the restaurant like a dead dog. This must be a black shop, Hiori complained. She saw that the chef was very skilled in beating people, as if he had practiced it for many years. Patty smiled with his teeth exposed. My dear lady, you are wrong. We are a pirate chef team. If we don't have any skills, what will we do if we encounter pirates who eat the king's meal? Aren't you afraid of raising tigers in this way, Sanji? Levi asked. After noticing that Ajin was being dragged away, Levi followed Ajin out. Then he saw Sanji handing the rice to Jin. Sanji looked back at Levi, and he calmly pushed a plate full of seafood fried rice to Ajin and said, I once swore that I would never see anyone hungry again. This is consistent with my oath. It doesn't match. And I feel that Ajin is a very loyal person, and I also believe that he would not do such a despicable thing. Sanji took a puff of his cigarette and looked at Ajin, who was devouring his food and couldn't help but smile with relief. Never test humanity, Sanji. After Levi said this, he went back to prepare for dinner. What does this have to do with him? Everyone is responsible for their own choices. Guest, your meal. A boy wearing a straw hat with a bruised nose and a swollen face brought Levi a plate of food. Why is there only soup left? Did you eat it secretly, Luffy? Nuochishi couldn't help but screamed as she looked at the bottom of the plate where only soup was left. Please give me flowers. Maybe the weather was too hot and the food evaporated. Luffy squinted his eyes and didn't look at them. At the same time, he curled his lips and whistled, looking guilty. How dare you quibble? Nuoki grabbed his collar and shook him arrogantly. I'm dying, let go. Luffy kept making strange screams. A boot kicked towards Luffy's head with the sound of howling wind. Luffy was kicked and flew out, with a big bump visible to the naked eye bulging on his head. It hurts, old man, Luffy complained. Go to work quickly and don't disturb my distinguished guests here, Jeffu said with a cold face. How is it? Is my food okay? Jeffu asked with a smile. Looking at the kind old man in front of her, Hiori felt that his anger at Luffy just now was an illusion. Levi was about to say something, when his face suddenly changed slightly, and he said to Jeffu, It seems like someone is here to cause trouble. Please give me a bite of food. I haven't eaten for half a month. A big man in golden armor walked in with the support of the ghost man Ajin. Isn't this Krieg, our East Blue's most popular pirate? Why did he come back less than a month after he went to the Grand Line? Looking at him in such a mess, he seems to have been driven back. The Grand Line is really terrible. The big pirate with a bounty of 17 million has failed. The sounds of melon-eating chefs around him made Krieg even more ashamed. He lowered his head with a cold glint in his eyes. Just wait, when Lousy is full, Lousy will make you look good. Sanji brought a large bowl of fried rice and handed it to Krieg. Patty quickly stopped him and said, He is a very vicious pirate. If you do this, you will get into big trouble. But Sanji still handed the meal to Krieg, and Patty sighed secretly. He knew Sanji's persistence, but Sanji was still a young boy who had never been to the sea. He didn't know the dangers of people's hearts, and some people couldn't sympathize with him. I'm full. Thank you very much, Sanji. Krieg put the water glass on the table. He began to become arrogant. He smiled and said to Sanji, The food you cooked is so delicious. Come to my sea. Let the thieves become chefs and die. Chapter 162. Hawkeye arrives. Please customize, please order in full. Sanji looked at Krieg as if he was mentally retarded. Now Mr. Sanji is the second in command of Baratie. He works 955 hours every day. He can cook his favorite dishes every day and has a beautiful young lady to watch. Only a ghost is willing to be a sea master, thief. Have all the brothers eaten? Krieg turned around and asked. All of his men showed bloodthirsty smiles. They pulled out guns and pointed them at everyone in the restaurant, obviously planning to do something bad to the ship. I declare that this ship has been commandeered by Lousy. Krieg smiled wildly, and his men also laughed like a group of demons. What's so noisy? Jeffu walked out of the kitchen. Krieg was stunned when he saw Jeffu coming out. After a moment, he laughed out loud. Isn't this the Jeffu known as Redfoot? I didn't expect you to be here, what a fate. Jeffu frowned. You're not welcome here, you'd better leave. After saying that, he was about to go to the kitchen. Krieg said, Give me your logbook. Didn't you travel to the Grand Line for a year? I want your logbook. The chefs were all shocked. They didn't expect that this cheerful old man was actually a pirate who had been to the Grand Line. Captain, it's no good, the devil is catching up with me again. At this moment, a pirate ran in with a pale face. After hearing what he said, The expressions of the pirates of the Krieg pirates present changed drastically, and some of the pirates with poor psychological quality even passed away. Quick, run away. Krieg no longer wants to seize Zeph's logbook. He led everyone to their broken pirate ship. Let's go, the show is about to begin, Levi said to Hancock and Hiori. After that, the two women followed him to the deck of the second floor. A coffin-like ship slowly came towards them. A person could be vaguely seen sitting on the boat. The small boat finally slowly approached Baratie, and Hawkeye stepped off the boat. How could this man, Hawkeye, the world's greatest swordsman, appear in this small place? Hancock said in surprise. How did he come here? It saves me searching everywhere. Zoro smiled excitedly, and he took out the scarf and tied it on his head. Johnny hurriedly hugged Zoro and said, Brother Zoro, don't do anything stupid. The opponent is the world's greatest swordsman and you will be killed. Johnny knew Zoro's temperament. His big brother was born with no fear, which is why he became a famous pirate hunter in East Blue and made a huge name. Zoro turned back and stared at Johnny and said, Are you kidding? I have been practicing swordsmanship for so many years just to defeat Hawkeye and become the world's greatest swordsman. Now Hawkeye is standing there. If I don't dare to challenge him now, then I will in the future. Is there still a chance to challenge him? Johnny couldn't help but let go of his hand as he listened to Zoro's words. Zoro strode towards Hawkeye, and finally he came to Hawkeye. Does this man want to die? How dare he take the initiative to block this demon's path? Krieg looked at the scene in front of him in amazement. He couldn't help but think of the scene that could be called a nightmare. Krieg spent half his life to finally build a large fleet. He already has as many as 50 pirate ships under his command. He can run rampant anywhere in the East Blue and Marine does not dare to control it. His strength can level the entire Marine branch of East Blue and even attack Logue Town. But everything changed after he saw this strange man. This man only swung 2 knives, and with 2 knives, Shu Li's half-life hard work was completely destroyed by Hawkeye's 2 knives. That was just the beginning of Krieg's nightmare. After that, the man kept sweeping them from behind. Krieg ordered the ships to disperse, but as long as there were scattered ships, Hawkeye would cut them in half with 1 knife. Krieg ran away on the Grand Line like a bereaved dog. It will never be the same again. How on earth can you let me go? Krieg's heart was howling crazily, but he didn't dare to make any move. He was afraid that any random movement would cause the man to misunderstand and cut him in two, which would cause trouble. A gunshot broke the calm of the scene. Hawkeye picked it with the handle of the black knife, and the bullet was picked aside by him. What? I was clearly aiming at him, the pirate with the gun muttered. It's not that he didn't aim, it's just that he used the blade to gently change the trajectory. I've never seen swordsmanship with such gentle movements. A few drops of cold sweat flowed from Zoro's forehead. Roronoa Zoro, today Hyuga you challenge, Mahawk. Zoro strode to the front of Hawkeye, his eyes full of fighting spirit. Hawkeye's hand slowly moved towards his black knife. He had already met many young people who didn't know the heights of the world. They were blinded by fame and fortune, and the same was obviously true for the young man in front of him. Hey, Hawkeye, this is the young man I like, please give him some advice. There are not many good swordsman seedlings now. When Hawkeye was about to kill Zoro, a voice came. It's him. Hawkeye and Zoro looked towards the second floor at the same time. Hawkeye frowned slightly, but Zoro's eyes were full of joy. Since Levi gave guidance to Guina and Zoro, they have never seen him again. Zoro also saw the image of Levi's wedding some time ago, and never expected that he would come here. Kuina is the senior sister of the entire Shimotsuki village dojo. Since receiving Levi's guidance, Kuina has become stronger and stronger, so much so that when Kuina left the dojo, he did not win against Kuina once. Kuina joined the Eric Guild after going to sea, and became a famous pirate hunter in East Blue in a short period of time. Recently, because Levi conquered Wano Kuni, the Eric Guild has paid for Kuina to learn swordsmanship. Zoro went to sea to become a pirate hunter just to follow in her footsteps. Now Levi looked at him, how could he fail? Zoro's eyes were full of eagerness. He pulled out the word, Wado, which Kuina left for him when he left. Zoro inherited Kanjuro's kendo, which was a token of Kanjuro's inheritance. Zoro held the word, Wado, in his mouth, and attacked Hawkeye with 2 swords in his hand. Zoro was like a violent beast, and the 3 knives had danced beyond his limit, but they were all dodged by Hawkeye. Chapter 163. Men should chase their dreams, please customize, please order fully. Catch old man Jeffu and bring me the 2 beauties next to him. Krieg's eyes were full of evil thoughts. Ever since he saw Hancock and Hiori, he couldn't take his eyes away. Not only Krieg, but also his subordinates were all drooling at the moment. We've got a good show. The expressions of all the chefs in Baratie changed drastically. They all looked at Krieg with pity in their eyes. This Krieg pirate group was really looking for death. They had just sent away a murderer, and immediately provoked a more terrifying killing god. You're damned if you dare to take advantage of me. Hancock turned to Krieg with a cold face and was about to take action, but she was stopped by Levi. Krieg, do you know that people without eyes are most likely to die on this sea? Levi smiled brightly, and the 2 rows of big white wings were shining in the sun. What a terrible smell. Everyone felt a terrible aura emanating from Levi's body. This aura was gradually getting stronger. Even the clouds in the sky were torn apart by Levi's aura, and the entire sky became sunny in an instant. The Krieg pirates all felt their scalps were numb, and Krieg's mouth felt dry. It was the first time that he hated his lust so much. Could the person traveling with two beauties be an ordinary person? Before he could beg for mercy, he saw Levi slowly raise his fist. Go to hell and repent. Levi whispered. As his fist smashed down, everyone in the Kirk pirates was crushed into blood mist by Levi's fist, and all the big ships were destroyed into pieces by Levi. Okay, so strong. Everyone was shocked by Levi's strength. This was the first time they had seen Levi take action. The man with a bounty of 5 billion Baileys was indeed worthy of his reputation. Uncle, you are so strong. How about joining my pirate team? I am the man who wants to become the Pirate King. Luffy held his straw hat with his hand and smiled brightly. Are you kidding? This is a super pirate with a bounty of 5 billion Baileys? Sanji roared and kicked Luffy away. Asterisk 5. A bounty of 5 billion Baileys? Luffy was completely shocked. His current bounty was less than 10 million Baileys, and Levi's bounty was many, many times that of his. Luffy tried to calculate the gap between them. Within a moment, Luffy, a calculation idiot, completely fainted. You are still so reckless, Zoro. Levi walked up to Zoro. At this moment, Zoro had been seriously injured by Hawkeye, and he could only look at him weakly on the ground. This is my last failure, Mr. Levi, I promise. Zoro's voice was full of determination. Stupid. Levi scolded sternly. You have to have an indomitable character, and you will be discouraged after a mere failure. Who dares to claim to be invincible, and who dares to say that he is invincible? I understand, Mr. Levi. Zoro's face turned pale. Obviously he knew his mistake. A warrior must be able to bend and stretch, but it is stupid to do something when he knows it cannot be done. But, Zoro, don't lose your wildness, I just like your character, Levi laughed. Sanji has been with you for such a long time, are you willing to let this child leave? After solving Click, Levi sat down with Jeffu for a drink, while Hancock and Hiori went to chat with Nokagao. There were only two of them left on the entire third floor. There is nothing to be reluctant to part with. The young eagle will eventually leave the nest. My dream is to open a restaurant in East Blue. Now Baratie's business is so booming, I am very happy. Sanji's dream is to find Allblue, he should go too, he's pursuing his dream. What's the point of staying with an old man like me? Jeffu said after taking a sip of wine. Levi's expression changed, and he looked out the window, they're setting off. Now Sanji has never fought against the ghost man Akin, and he doesn't know how Luffy abducted him. Levi and Jeffu could see that on the deck of the ship. Sanji knelt down and kowtowed 3 times in the direction of Dian Lati. Obviously he also knew that Sanji knew that Jeffu would definitely not worry about him. The stubborn old man was watching him quietly from somewhere. Old man, I will definitely find Allblue, Sanji shouted loudly to Baratie. This little brat. Jeffu scolded with a smile. Levi could see that when Jeffu raised his neck to drink, there were glistening tears in his eyes. Men, you should chase your dreams, Jeffu smiled happily. After bidding farewell to Jeffu, Levi and others headed towards the Eric Guild. The Eric Guild has developed rapidly in the past few years. The 10 offices alone already occupy most of the area. Welcome. As soon as Levi entered the hall, 2 dignified beauties in professional attire shouted to Levi. The hall was full of people with weapons coming and going, and these people all looked fierce. Doesn't look like a good guy. Boss, long time no see, Eric's loud laughter came. At this moment, Eric obviously had a very good life in his childhood. The cigar as thick as his finger gave off a fragrance, and his figure also became bulging with muscles. He looked skinny before. When these bounty hunters saw Eric being so respectful to the people in front of them, their expressions changed slightly and they reluctantly stayed away from the 3 of them. They also remembered their appearance deeply in their hearts. These people must have he is a person with a shocking background and cannot afford to offend Li Lihao. Soon, under the leadership of Eric, they arrived on the 2nd floor. From the all-glass room on the 2nd floor, they could have a panoramic view of the entire hall. Levi's eyes froze, he pointed at the screen in the hall and said, what is that? At this moment, there are tasks scrolling on the big screen, but the top one is a message marked in red, and it never scrolls. The message is, kill the Shichibukai-san crocodile. The reward is 500 million belly. I don't know whose handiwork it was. Anyway, this is the biggest order in the bounty hunting world recently. Even the Seidel Guild didn't dare to take it, but I took it, Eric said proudly. Although the bounty of this mission target is far lower than the target's strength, what Eric Guild wants is not money, but a reputation. He wants to use this mission to become famous in the entire bounty hunting world. Chapter 164. Employer Vivi, please customize, please order in full. Levi has also met the Sand Crocodile several times. This guy seems to be very thoughtful. He once tied with Bullet. Bullet once fought against Akainu and impelled down. According to Levi's estimation, the Sand Crocodile's combat power should not be too high. To the Admiral level, it is stronger than the ordinary Vice Admiral. Now Eric's guild actually has the confidence to challenge Shichibukai. It seems that Eric's guild has developed very rapidly in the past few years. The Sand Crocodile is probably plotting the ancient weapon Pluton in Alabasta. The design drawings of the Pluton are in Tom's hands. Now Tom is on Tezzolo's ship. Most people can't see him anymore, and they don't know if Alabasta has it. A true finished Pluton product. Originally, I was only 60% sure. Now that you are here, boss, my matter is settled. Eric laughed. I didn't expect that your guild now has a strong man who can rival Sand Crocodile. Why didn't I know? Levi didn't remember that Eric's men had such strong men. The strongest man in Eric's guild now is Man-Eater. Bah, there are 4 characters. Toromio, Supersonic. Van Oka, White Sword Princess. Kuina, and Daddy with children. According to the combat prowess of these people, they simply couldn't hold on for a few moves at the hands of Sand Crocodile. Boss, although I am not as strong as Sand Crocodile, boss, don't forget, my bounty hunter guild is a group, and I still have a good chance if I do it mentally or not. Eric seemed to see through it. Levi's doubts, he explained to Levi. Boss, since Princess Hiori became Wanokuna's general, didn't she implement the founding policy towards Wanokuni? And I got a batch of sea stone bullets in Wanokuni. Although the Sand Crocodile is very strong, when he was unprepared we can take him down. Eric clenched his fist fiercely, his expression full of confidence. Eric's plan really has room for implementation. The reason is that he doesn't know how far the Sand Crocodile's observation haki has been. If the Sand Crocodile's observation haki is very weak, maybe Eric's guild can really achieve success with one blow. Such an interesting thing, I also want to see it. I went to Alabasta in a hurry last time, but I haven't had enough fun yet. Hiori's eyes flashed with excitement. Boss Levi, I finally see you. Bartolomeo's eyes filled with tears the moment he saw Levi. He, BF'da, did a 50-meter sliding kneel in front of Levi. This smooth operation. Levi was stunned. Senior Levi, since the last time I saw you in Logue Town, I have never forgotten your heroic appearance. Now I finally see you. Bartolomeo hugged Levi's thigh and kept crying. Get up quickly, our employer will be here soon. What do you mean if people see you like this? Eric yelled at Bartolomeo. Eric also felt a deep threat towards this boy's shameless behavior. He asked himself, he could not do such shameless flattery behavior. For a moment, he felt Bartolomeo's status towards him. It will cause shaking. Levi, look, it's Vivi. Hiori's voice came from behind the boat. Hiori and Hancock walked toward Levi. Behind them, there was a woman with a blue veil. Hello, Dean Levi. Vivi's face was so red that she was about to drip. Levi was the honorary dean of Visalia. After the Navigator Academy became famous, Vivi had longed for adventure since she was a child, so she begged her father to send her to this academy, learn navigation. After that, Crocodile, one of Alabasta's Shichibukai, gradually showed his fangs, and he began to manipulate Alabasta's national destiny behind his back. He began to use dance powder extensively around Alabasta, causing Alabasta to gradually become dry. Vivi didn't know what dancing fans were at first, but later her instructor told her that the full name of dancing fans is the wind-moving powder. This thing was invented by a desert prince who was studying in Visalia. According to the principle of conservation of mass, the total amount of rainwater remains unchanged. After using dancing powder in this country, the downstream countries will be in a state of prosperity. Later, this country became more and more prosperous, while the downstream countries became more and more dry. Later, the downstream countries accidentally learned the truth, and several countries jointly started a war against them. In the end, the country was destroyed, and the dancing powder was too domineering, so the entire world government banned the production and use of this powder. In order to confirm the authenticity of the matter, Vivi asked her father to get her a sample. After testing, she found that this thing was dancing powder that had been banned by the world government. Later, the king of Alabasta, King Neferutali Cobra, personally reported the incident using a telephone bug. You must know that their family was also one of the 20 families that established the new order at that time, but they did not migrate to Mariejois. If they went to Mariejois, so he was also a member of the Celestial Dragons. However, after the report was reported, the entire world government had no response. The entire country has been experiencing a severe drought for 3 years. During these 3 years, countless prosperous towns have become ruins, and countless residents have become refugees. They have begun to form rebels. An attack was launched against the king's rule, and the entire kingdom was in turmoil. Later, Vivi's classmates told her that there is an extremely powerful bounty hunter guild in East Blue. As long as you can afford the money, they can kill any pirate for you. So Vivi's father took out all the money from the treasury, and then the Eric Guild took over this task. Vivi heard from Tashigi that this guild had a very close connection with a certain big shot in the Grand Line. She never expected that this big shot was their dean, Levi. We are all acquaintances, so this is easy, Eric laughed. After that, Eric and Vivi inquired about the layout of the entire country and the geographical location of Alabasta. After Vivi's explanation, 10 detailed combat plans were gradually formed. Okay, then let's lurk in the places where Crocodile often goes, and then Van Oka will kill him with one blow. Eric clenched his fist fiercely, and then their big ship crossed the upside-down mountain and headed towards Alabasta. Go. Chapter 165. Meeting Xiao Feng. Please customize, please order in full. Vivi is watching the weather nervously. Since the ship crossed the upside-down mountain, The weather has become erratic. Vivi is using the navigation skills she learned in Visalia to sail. Although this ship also had its own navigator, Levi did not let him get started. He wanted to see how much knowledge Vivi had learned in Visalia. The clouds are low in the distance, and there is a low pressure zone ahead. I'm afraid a big storm is coming. Keep the left rudder full and bypass this cloud. Following Vivi's command, the entire ship turned in a large arc and headed forward. After a while, there was lightning and thunder at the place Vivi mentioned just now, and the heavy rain had made it difficult to see clearly what was falling in front. What a skill, Vivi! Levi praised Vivi. It seems that the old guys in Visalia are really good at it, and the navigators trained by Levi can all be put to use. Thank you, Dean, for the compliment. At this moment, Vivi's big eyes have narrowed into crescent moons. She was very nervous at first, but now she is smiling happily. The wind was getting stronger and stronger at the moment, and they were on the edge of the storm, let alone him. If they hadn't bypassed this cloud layer, I'm afraid they would have been in big trouble. Help! Someone help me! A cry for help reached the ears of Levi and others. They looked intently and could vaguely see a figure lying on a broken board, asking for help. Help! As soon as Levi finished speaking, Eric's figure floated down from the boat towards the sea. After years of practice, Eric's moonwalk has already reached the point of purity. His figure left an afterimage on the sea, and then he carried a person back to the boat. Bartolomeo looked at Eric with envy. He started to get seasick after passing the upside-down mountain. His combs drooped and he looked very listless. I'm saved. Thank you for saving me. The man started to spit a few times and then became energetic again. This guy was wearing a pink ballet jacket with a pair of swan wings on his back and 2 swan heads on his shoulders. Levi recognized him as Mr. 2 Bentham from Crocodile Studio. At this moment, this guy was spinning and dancing the swan dance in the middle of the deck. If you don't look at his gender and dress, just look at his dancing posture, he is still very professional. My name is Bentham. In order to express my gratitude to you, I will perform an impromptu show for you. Then he touched Bartolomeo's coxcomb, and then a scene that surprised everyone appeared. The man became Bartolomeo. So amazing. As soon as Bartolomeo finished speaking, the Bartolomeo opposite also said the same thing. Their expressions and demeanor were exactly the same. Even Levi couldn't tell who they were. After that, Bentham touched them, and one after another the guards appeared in front of them. You are demon fruit power. You are so handsome. Bartolomeo's eyes were filled with little stars. Yes. I am a person with Paramecia devil fruit clone fruit ability. I can imitate anyone I meet. Bentham said proudly, and then his face suddenly changed like a face-changing face, both men and women, old and young. It seems very inconsistent. This is. Vivi exclaimed, but everyone was sighing about Bentham's devil fruit, and no one noticed her abnormality. It's not wrong. That was my father just now. The man in front of me has been in contact with my father. Vivi remembered another thing. Her father once told her that someone witnessed him promulgating a series of laws in public, ridiculous laws. His father was in the palace at that time, but all the people swore that they had seen the king with their own eyes. Cobra was really in trouble. When she met Bentham, all her doubts were solved. I am afraid that this man was pretending to be her father. This guy was from Crocodile Studio. Levi knows what Vivi is thinking. She is really a very attentive girl. I didn't expect that the barrier fruit and the clone fruit would be together again. Is this fate? Hiori walked to Levi and said to Levi. Please give me flowers. Levi also nodded with admiration. When he was fighting Wanokuni and Kurozumi Orochi, the previous host of clone fruit and barrier fruit was a cadre of the Kurozumi family. At that time, clone fruit's ability users also imitated Hiori, but the old woman at that time was not as strong as Xiao Feng, and Hiori was by their side, which made them reveal their flaws. Seeing Bartolomeo and Bentham singing and dancing hand in hand, Levi couldn't help but tremble. He dared to be so close to a she-male. This guy's heart is really big. Levi shook his head at Vivi and said, Don't make any noise. You have already left Alabasta. The Bentham in front of you doesn't know you. If you catch him now, Crocodile will notice it. Zero Vivi's fists were clenched, but she still smiled at Levi and said, I understand, Dean Levi. It seems that after several years of traveling, this girl has become a lot more mature. Levi also nodded in approval to Vivi. You must know that Vivi is just a 16-year-old girl now. It is really amazing that she can remain calm when facing the enemy. I'm going to miss you, good friend. After arriving at Alabasta, Bentham said goodbye to them. Now Bartolomeo and Bentham cried together. Although they only spent a few days on the ship, they both regarded each other as their confidants. What, that person just now turned out to be our enemy, Bartolomeo exclaimed. Just after Xiao Feng left, Vivi told everyone her suspicions. If he is our enemy, then we have to find a way to distinguish each other. Eric was thinking more. He was already thinking about how to guard against this tricky ability. We can make a mark on our arms to identify each other. Finoka suddenly spoke. This man was so taciturn that Levi even thought he was mute. Afterwards, a check mark was drawn on all of their arms with a black pen. Chapter 166. The hunting plan begins. Please customize, please order in full. Alabasta, Rainland. This is the only area in Alabasta that has not been affected by drought, and it is also the location of the largest casino in the entire kingdom, the Rain Feast. MRO. Do you want to go out? A beautiful woman with dark skin greeted the big-backed man with a smile. Well, I've been feeling a little uneasy lately. I went out for a walk, and you continue to stare at this place. MISSAI Sunday. The big man with a slicked back hair and a cigar hanging sideways in his mouth replied. Watching the big man in front of me slowly walk out of the casino, in the inconspicuous corners of the venue, a deep voice held a phone and said, President Eric. The goal has been set. After that, he continued to shout, 067, loudly and started gambling as if nothing happened. As the dice cup was opened, he began to gnash his teeth. These are the intelligence collectors from Eric's guild. They were all trained by Eric with a lot of money. Before Eric and others set off, they began to make arrangements for Crocodile. Now Crocodile has set off, let's start preparing. As Eric's voice fell, everyone began to become serious, and they had entered a fighting state. After a few days of observation, they discovered that Crocodile went to the middle of the desert to relax every 2 days, which gave them a chance. How are you sure, Fanoka? Bartolomeo clenched his fists, and he looked at Fanoka nervously. Don't come to the top of the dune. Your green hair is too conspicuous. I'm afraid the target will be alert. Fanoka's voice was as calm as ever. Husband, you are so strong, why don't you just defeat him directly? Why do you have to go to such great lengths to arrange a plan? Hiori asked confused. At this moment, Hiori and Hancock Levi were in a natural cave behind the sand dunes. This cave was very cool, without a trace of dryness in the desert. Hiori, this is their battle, I can't interfere. Levi happily swallowed the grapes handed over by Hancock in one gulp. Due to the large temperature difference between day and night, the grapes here are much more delicious than those in other places. This is fate. With Fanoka's sai, his favorite gun, Qianlu, silently fired a bullet. What is that? Crocodile was taking a leisurely walk when he suddenly felt a numbness in his scalp. Then his observation Hawkeye saw a bullet flying towards him. The bullet was so fast that he only had time to turn his body. He was shot in the left shoulder. What a keen intuition. Fanoka admired that Crocodile had noticed it the moment he fired, and his body even began to transform into elements. However, Fanoka's bullets and gun were both specially made. Under the effect of sea stone, Crocodile had got hurt. Originally it was aimed at the heart, but unexpectedly it hit the shoulder. This is his fate, Fanoka sighed. Then take advantage of his illness and kill him. What are we waiting for? After Bartolomeo finished speaking, he rushed towards Crocodile from the top of the sand dune. How is it possible, this feeling, this is a sea stone bullet. Crocodile felt weak. This bullet could hit him who was partially transformed into sand, indicating that this bullet was made by sea stone. Since the founding of Wano Kuni, they have begun dumping sea stone products all over the world. After all, they are the only country that can process sea stone. Therefore, as soon as this policy came out, countries around the world rushed to buy sea stone. Even Crocodile bought a large cage made of sea stone. It's been a long time since I've been injured, it's really interesting. Looking at the blood on his palm, Crocodile began to laugh lowly, and then he put the golden hook of his left hand into his shoulder. With a stir, the bullet was hooked out of his shoulder. Although he was sweating in pain all the time, he kept sneering, and the murderous intent in his eyes became more and more intense. Ever since he became a Shichibukai, he has been openly killing pirates to maintain his status in the eyes of the people. It seems that someone thought he was too kind and dared to assassinate a man who once had a bounty of 81 million belly. The pirates. Is that where you were hiding? I found you. Crocodile laughed gloomily. Vanoka's shot just now was too fast, and his breath did not leak out at all, so he did not notice the trace of the assassin. When Bartolomeo jumped out from the sand dunes, by then, Crocodile had taken out his bullet. Bartolomeo is in trouble. I wonder if he can take the sand crocodile's move. Levi chuckled. Desert sword. Crocodile's eyes were full of murderous intent, and then his right arm turned into a sand knife and slashed towards Bartolomeo. I'll go. Is that so exaggerated? Bartolomeo couldn't help but feel like he was dying when he saw the huge sand knife that was several miles long. With Crocodile as the center, a crack came towards Bartolomeo. Barrier. Bartolomeo only had time to cross his hands and make a strange gesture, and then the scimitar made entirely of sand slashed on his barrier. Boom. With a loud noise, the entire huge sand dune was cut in half by Crocodile. Is this the power of Shichibukai? He is simply a monster, Wei. Wei was already 5.7 and was stunned by the scene in front of her. She was just an ordinary little girl from Alabasta. She had never seen such a move by a Shichibukai-level master. He really has the power to destroy a city at will. Is this man really only capable of 81 million Baileys? Eric also felt that Crocodile's strength was a bit terrifying, but this aroused his fighting spirit even more. If he could kill such a strong man, Eric's guild would probably surpass the Seidel guild in an instant. It's so scary. Lousy was scared to death. Bartolomeo climbed out of the sand with a gray face. Although Crocodile was very strong, they were not vegetarians. After that, Bartolomeo attacked Crocodile again. Chapter 167. Fighting Crocodile. Please customize, please order in full. Barrier. Bull Rush. Bartolomeo strode towards Crocodile, but Crocodile's attack just now had no effect on him. The vitality is quite tenacious. Let's see how my move goes, the crescent-shaped sand dune. Crocodile stretched out his hand again, and a huge scimitar made entirely of sand struck at Bartolomeo again. When the sand reached Bartolomeo, he couldn't move any further, and Bartolomeo couldn't help but step back. 3 steps. Demon fruit power. Crocodile frowned. The green-haired boy in front of him seemed to have a very difficult ability. I am a user with the Paramecia barrier fruit ability. My barrier can evade all attacks. Don't be afraid. Bartolomeo proudly showed off to Crocodile. Desert sunflower. Crocodile pressed his hand to the earth, and then the desert began to shake slightly. What happened? Was there an earthquake? Bartolomeo scratched his head and looked around in confusion. His barrier had been opened, but he felt a strong sense of crisis in his heart. Boy, just be buried in this desert. Crocodile had a cigarette in his mouth and an evil smile on his lips. Bartolomeo felt the sand beneath him sink suddenly, and the surrounding sand surged up, as if he was going to be buried alive in the desert. Flow barrier. Stairs. Bartolomeo's barrier flowed, and a staircase leading to the sky extended in front of Bartolomeo. Bartolomeo quickly ran upwards along this staircase. Boom. The surrounding sand collided together with a muffled sound, and a sand dune was created by Crocodile. Ah, it was so dangerous, I almost got buried in it. At the last moment, Bartolomeo jumped out from the closing of the dunes. Crocodile in the desert is almost undefeated. This is his home court. Eric and the others are in trouble. Hancock said to Levi, now due to Crocodile's attack, the sand dunes in front of them have been swept away by him, and Levi and others can directly see the battlefield. Now Eric has rushed to Bartolomeo's side, and the two of them have formed a confrontation with Crocodile. I didn't expect it to be East Blue's famous Eric Guild. Everyone is in the same league, so why are they killing each other? After meeting Eric, Crocodile naturally knew the identities of these people. After all, Eric was considered a big shot in the bounty hunter world. Crocodile naturally knew Juan. Don't ask who the employer is. Everyone is paid to do things. These basic professional ethics must be maintained. Before Crocodile could ask questions, Eric seemed to see through his thoughts and rejected him directly. Well, it's really a pity. Crocodile shrugged and said, since you all want to die, then I will make it happen for you. Desert Diamond Sword. Crocodile's hands turned into 4 huge sand blades, and then he slashed at Eric and Bartolomeo. After that, the sand in the entire desert danced wildly, endless salon roars, and the entire world was covered. Don't worry Vivi, they will be fine. Come and eat watermelon. The watermelon you have here is really good. Hiori handed the cut watermelon to Vivi. Vivi just showed a stiff smile to Hiori. Although Hiori said it easily, after seeing the terrifying strength of Crocodile, she had no idea about this big battle. Don't worry, they will be fine as long as Levi is here. Hiori glanced at Levi and said. Seeing the old god Levi eating melon, Vivi's heart calmed down a little. After all, Levi's reputation is well known, and his strength must be stronger than the sand crocodile in front of her. Sickle, sickle. Eric waved his hands wildly, and as his hands danced, invisible wind blades cut the crocodile sand into pieces. But there was too much sand here, and he gradually fell into a disadvantage. President, be careful. Bartolomeo let out a loud roar, and then he ran in front of Eric, and then Crocodile's desert scimitar slashed on Bartolomeo's barrier. Eric's eyes flashed, and then countless wind blades cut towards Crocodile. Countless wind blades passed through Crocodile's body. The moment the wind blades passed through, Crocodile's body became elemental, and the wind blades struck at Crocodile. His body was unscathed. Logia's demon fruit power is really hard to kill. Eric sighed secretly in his heart. Desert Great Sword. At this moment, a huge sand pillar appeared under Bartolomeo and Eric, and the sand pillar instantly lifted them up and sent them directly towards the sky. Bartolomeo let out a long miserable howl, and then he was pushed up to the sky. Eric smashed the sand pillar with a wind blade the moment it appeared. Fortunately, there is a barrier under my feet, otherwise it would have been dangerous just now. After getting rid of the sand pillar, Bartolomeo patted his chest with lingering fear, and then he headed towards the battlefield again. What a tenacious bug. Seeing Bartolomeo joining the battlefield again, Crocodile was furious. The boy in front of him was not very strong, but his fruit ability was so pervert that he could resist it. He even blocked it for Eric. Several fatal moves. Erosion of reincarnation. Crocodile pressed his hand to the earth, and then the whole earth began to wither with his heart. This is a very strange feeling. The dust in the sky begins to fall, and even the stones turn into powder. Retreat. Retreat quickly. Eric shouted at Bartolomeo. He felt a fatal threat from Crocodile's move. If they stepped into Crocodile's territory, their entire bodies would wither. Good chance. Fan Oka, who was like a wooden man in the distance, suddenly moved. The wind and sand just now were so strong that he could not aim at the target. Now the whole world became clearer than ever before. He immediately raised his gun and fired 3 consecutive shots at Crocodile. Crocodile groaned, and then a blood flower appeared on his chest, and his reincarnation of erosion could not be maintained. He's seriously injured. Eric and Bartolomeo were so happy that they rushed towards Crocodile at the same time. Chapter 168. Crocodile is seriously injured. Please customize. Please order in full. I was careless and ignored this sniper. Crocodile looked at Fanoka, who was like a dead tree in the distance. This sniper was really terrifying. In the battle just now, his breath was not leaking. Although he had been standing there, Crocodile subconsciously ignored him. Crocodile's golden hook dug out the bullet from his body like lightning. Shalon. Crocodile endured the discomfort, and a small tornado sandstorm appeared in his hand, and then he threw the entire tornado on the ground. The tornado turned into a huge sandstorm in an instant. Eric and Bartolomeo, who were originally rushing towards Crocodile, changed their expressions, and they ran towards the cave where Levi was at the same time. By the time the dust cleared, Crocodile had disappeared. This is trouble. Eric frowned. Originally, they wanted to behead Crocodile directly. Unexpectedly, Crocodile was so strong. After being injured twice by seastone bullets, he still had enough energy to escape. Consider everything in the worst possible direction. 077. Vivi also sighed, and then she and Eric and others headed towards the palace. Now Crocodile is a wounded beast, and I am afraid that the most turbulent period will come after taking over Baskin. Are you injured, M50? Robin's eyes flashed. She knew how powerful Crocodile was, but she didn't expect anyone on his home court to dare to plot against him. For a moment, Robin became interested in the identity of the murderer. Miss I Sunday, please inform me and start executing the plan, Crocodile said to Robin. Are you going to start early? I understand. Robin smiled at him, and then she walked out with her long legs. I hope I'm wrong. If it's really that man who came to Alabasta, I'm afraid. Crocodile thought back to the figure he saw when he was fighting with Eric and others, and his heart skipped a little bit. Uneasiness. With the operation of Crocodile, the entire Alabasta rebels began to gather towards the kingdom of Alabasta, and a new war was about to begin. Princess Vivi is back. With the roar of Jackal Yaka, the entire palace was immediately shaken. It's great that you're finally back. A strong man with strange curly hair greeted him. How is the state of the country now, Uncle Ikaram? Vivi asked Ikaram as she walked towards the palace. Ikaram is the guard captain of the entire Alabasta, and no one knows the situation in the entire country better than him. Who are these distinguished guests? Ikaram did not answer Vivi's question directly, but turned his attention to Levi and others. These are my friends. We ambushed Crocodile in the desert, but unfortunately he was injured and escaped, so I came back quickly now to let you prepare. Vivi and Ikaram explained. Ikaram felt dizzy as he listened. Crocodile's strength was extremely terrifying. He had also organized experts from the palace to assassinate Crocodile several times, but except for Falconbell, everyone else was killed by Crocodile. The current situation is very bad. The rebels have gathered in the center of the royal capital of Alabasta, and they may launch an attack at any time. The Lord of Cobra sent himself to the palace before he could. Not seen either. Ikaram frowned and told Vivi about the situation of the entire kingdom. Through his words, Levi and others had a general understanding of the situation of the entire BFCA, Alabasta. This country was already in a state of turmoil. If things went wrong for a while, the entire kingdom might be in danger of overturning. King Cobra, Princess Vivi is back. Ikaram reported to the door. I said, no one bothers me, let me be alone. Cobra's roar came from behind the door. Hearing this voice, Cobra felt irritable. Strange, what's going on? King Cobra shouldn't be like this. No matter what the situation is, King Cobra will come out to greet Princess Vivi. Ikaram frowned. Father, I am Vivi. Vivi called softly from behind the door. I say it again, everyone leave. Cobra's voice was full of anger. No, the person inside is not my father, this should be the Xiao Feng we met in the house, Vivi said to everyone. How can you be so sure that the person inside is Xiao Feng? Maybe your father is really angry. Bartolomeo was a little confused. You'll know if it's true or not, you'll know once you get in. Eric raised his hand slightly, and the heavy door was cut into pieces by his windblade. Such a terrifying strength. Ikaram thought secretly. This door was made of ironwood as hard as steel. I didn't expect that the inconspicuous man in front of me could break the entire door into pieces with a wave of his hand. Originally, Ikaram didn't believe Vivi's statement that they defeated Crocodile, but seeing Eric's strength, he believed 70% of Princess Vivi's statement. Bentham, long time no see. After entering, Eric greeted the figure sitting on the throne. It's you, Cobra. King showed a delighted smile, and then he seemed to think of something. He coughed and said with a majestic face. Who let you in? Ikaram. You haven't kicked them out yet, what a fool. You, who are you? Ikaram's face was full of surprise. He could clearly see the king's expression just now, and he didn't expect that what Princess Vivi said was not fake. Now that you have discovered it, I don't have to hide it anymore. I am a cadre of Crocodile, and my codename is Mr. 2. Bentham changed back to himself, and then he kept spinning in circles. Damn it. Where did you get King Cobra? Ikaram shouted angrily at Bentham. The slave family doesn't know, and the slave family won't tell you if they know it. Bentham stopped circling, he smiled at Ikaram. Chapter 169 Xiao Feng and the Rebels. Please customize, please order in full. Xiao Feng, are you really a cadre of Crocodile? Bartolomeo asked in surprise. Yes. Bentham circled proudly and said, the slave family follows the path of the she-male. After all, there are only men and women in this world. The she-male is both a man and a woman, so the she-male is the strongest and the most powerful. Look at my she-male boxing skills. Xiao Feng jumped up high, and then launched an attack on Eric and others. A moment later, Bentham lay on the ground with a bruised nose and face. Next to him, the knuckles of Eric and Bartolomeo's hands crackled. Tell me, where did you hide King Cobra? Eric shouted, looking at Bentham. I don't know, the new family really doesn't know, Xiao Feng said with a bruised nose and a swollen face. What a tough guy, keep fighting. Eric looked at Xiao Feng with admiration in his eyes. He suffered such a severe beating but still didn't reveal the whereabouts of Cobra. He was really a tough guy. Report to the captain, now that the rebels led by Kosha have arrived at the palace, what should we do? A soldier came over and asked Ikaram for instructions. Damn it, it happens at this time. Ikaram roared angrily. King Cobra just happened to be missing now, and the entire kingdom was leaderless. It was a coincidence that the rebels chose this time. Hand this audacious man into sea-stone handcuffs. Vivi said to Ikaram, and then she said to Ikaram, let me go and have a look. Kosha and I still have some friendship. Vivi and Kusha formed the Shasha group when they were young, and Vivi was still the deputy leader of the Shasha group. It was only later that Kusha followed his father to open up an oasis, and they severed contact. Unexpectedly, after many years, they actually became an enemy. At this moment, nearly 100,000 rebels gathered under the city of the palace. The vast area looked spectacular. Kosa, I'm Vivi, do you remember me? Vivi shouted to the cold and handsome young man wearing sunglasses at the bottom of the city. Kosa, this is all Shichibukai Crocodile's conspiracy. You have to believe me. The drought in Alabasta was caused by him using dancing powder. Vivi continued to shout downwards. Vivi, I believe what you say, but what happened to King Cobra's series of ridiculous orders some time ago? Kosha asked Vivi. He also felt that all this seemed to be too coincidental, as if it was a coincidence. It seemed like there was an invisible hand controlling it behind my back. This is a good thing done by Crocodile's men. His men have the ability to transform into other people. My father was disguised by them and we took him down. My father's whereabouts are still unknown, Vivi said to said Kosha. Princess Vivi, there is no one who can turn into someone else. The story you told is too outrageous. Your royal family is too cunning, we can't trust you. At this moment, someone among Shah's rebels spoke. Kosa, I know you are a kind person. Let us both lay down our weapons. If a war breaks out, only our citizens of Alabasta will be injured. Now to show my sincerity, in the name of Crown Prince Nafarudli Vivi order you, all members of the escort, to put down your weapons. Following Vivi's order, the spears in the hands of the king's army on the city wall began to slowly be put away, and the atmosphere on both sides began to gradually relax. Seeing that the king's army was so sincere, the rebels looked at each other and began to slowly retract the spears in their hands. This won't work, it seems we need to add more fire. Among the rebels, the people from Crocodile Studio looked at each other, a grin appeared on their lips, and then they raised their guns and shot at the city wall. Bang bang bang. A burst of crisp gunfire was particularly harsh in this depressing environment, and everyone picked up the gun under conditioned reflex. Several blood flowers appeared on the bodies of several soldiers on the city wall, and their bodies fell down. Who fired the shot? Kosha yelled angrily. Originally, he felt something was wrong, but now his heart was constantly chilling. I was afraid that the burst of gunfire just now had pushed the whole thing to the point where no one could control it. The rebels are killing people, please give me flowers. The eyes of all the guards turned blood red. They were the brothers, they had known each other day and night, and now they were shot in the dark by the despicable rebels. You can't shoot. Vivi let out a shrill scream, but with the gunfire from the rebel camp, another guard member fell down on the city wall, and they didn't care so much. In an instant, the gunfire from both sides rang out. Boom, boom, boom. Intensive gunfire exploded like firecrackers in the square, and people on both sides continued to fall. Stop, Yinjia, stop it quickly. Vivi collapsed to the ground weakly. No matter how she and Kosha shouted, it was of no avail. Now Pandora's box has been opened, and they will not stop until the winner is determined between the two sides. Point 0. The eyes of the soldiers on both sides were filled with blood. They only saw the enemy. No matter how loudly Princess Vivi shouted, no one of the soldiers with red eyes could listen to her orders. The blood has eroded humanity. At this moment, the soldiers on both sides have forgotten everything. The large square is covered with corpses, including those of the king's guards and more of the rebels. Fratricide between flesh and blood, what a human tragedy this is. Hiori couldn't bear to see this human tragedy. Wanokuni had already experienced it once, and now that the country was experiencing it again, she still felt it was cruel. Levi, help them. Hancock said to Levi. Yes, husband, please help them. Hiori pulled Levi's sleeve and begged. Everyone stop it. Levi let out a loud shout, and then his conqueror's hockey pressed down on the entire square. All the fighting people fell to the ground with white eyes after touching Levi's hockey. In less than a moment, the entire square returned to silence again. Only the smell of blood reminded Kosha and Vivi that what just happened was not an illusion. What an amazing power this is. Ikaram looked at Levi with admiration in his eyes. He subdued more than 100,000 people in an instant. It was a ghost-like method. Chapter 170 The Whereabouts of King Cobra. Please customize, please order in full. Thank you very much, Mr. Levi. Ikaram bowed deeply to Levi. If Levi hadn't taken action, today's battle would have caused Alabasta to bleed into a river of blood. It's indeed him. When Levi released Conqueror's Haki, Crocodile fiercely looked in Levi's direction, and he sensed a very terrifying momentum fluctuation. In the current Alabasta, only Levi has this strength. What's wrong, Moreau? Robin's strength was still weak, and she couldn't sense what was happening outside. Speed up, Miss All Sunday. Crocodile's pace quickened, and Robin followed him and disappeared into the corridor. Where did Crocodile go, and why hasn't he shown up yet? Bartolome. 707. Complained. According to the normal plot, when the minions fell, it was time for the boss to appear. Now the entire square was silent, and there was no trace of Crocodile at all. Boss, I don't know what to do now, please give me a clear path. Eric approached Levi and hoped that Levi and the others would point out a way. This Crocodile doesn't play according to the routine, and Eric always feels that he is not trying to seize Alabasta, but is trying to plot something in Alabasta. The Crocodile group is now going to the burial hall. It seems that King Cobra is also imprisoned there, Levi said. What? Vivi raised her head in shock. The burial ceremony hall was on the west side of the Alabasta Palace. The royal families of all generations were buried here. Because the royal families of Alabasta were highly respected by the people, there were no guards here. Let's go to the burial ceremony hall immediately. Vivi ignored her sadness and took Levi and others towards the funeral ceremony hall. Zeus. With a snap of Levi's fingers, Zeus appeared in front of him. After that, Levi and Hancock had already sat on Zeus's back and slowly followed Vivi and the others as they floated away. Can't we let you pass so easily? When Vivi and others first arrived at the burial ceremony hall, Crocodile's cadres were already waiting there. Zeus, go to the front and take a look, Levi ordered Zeus. I can kill them all at once. Do you want me to take action? You just need to give me 10 delicious meals. Zeus' words slowly flowed out. Don't worry about them, this is their battle. Levi glanced at Eric and the others. If he couldn't deal with the small characters in front of him, it meant that Eric had no value in cultivating him. Oh well. Zeus suddenly became dejected. Crocodile, what do you want? In the innermost part of the burial sacrifice hall, a middle-aged man with long black curly hair yelled at Crocodile. King Cobra, I only want Pluton. If you want you to tell me where it is, I will leave Alabasta immediately. How about that? Crocodile slowly blew a smoke ring at Cobra. King Cobra's pupils shrank, and then he laughed. Is this the purpose of all your efforts to imprison me? It's really ridiculous. I didn't expect that the dignified Crocodile of Shichibukai would also believe this rumor. Rumors? I remember that the Nefertari family was one of the 20 royal families who founded the world government 800 years ago, but you did not follow and move into the Holy Land. Instead, you ruled Alabasta and protected the ancient weapon Pluton. Because your family as he was the controller of Pluton back then. And you, King Cobra, you are the 10th second-generation descendant of the Nefertari clan. Robin told King Cobra's family history like a treasure trove. This is not something ordinary people can know. Who are you? King Cobra looked at Robin. I'm just an ordinary scholar. Robin bowed to Cobra and said humbly. This is not something that ordinary scholars can know. As far as I know, only a destroyed island in West Blue knows this news. Cobra gave Robin a deep look. You can decipher historical texts, right, Robin? While Tang and the others were talking, a man's voice suddenly intervened. Levi, it's really you. Crocodile was shocked, and his body had begun to become partially elemental. I'm not here to fight with you. I just want to read the traditional historical text. You are really stupid, Sand Crocodile. You have never thought that this cemetery is the most likely place to hide the big secret. Levi smiled at Crocodile. After being nudged by Levi, Crocodile suddenly became enlightened. He didn't care that Levi was humiliating him. He pressed his hand to the ground and then murmured. There is indeed something weird. Don't worry, Cobra. I'm Vivi's dean after all. With me here, nothing will happen. Levi slapped Cobra on the shoulder to comfort him. With Levi's guarantee, Cobra began to feel more at ease. Although Cobra didn't know why, this man gave people a very reassuring feeling. This is the history of our Nefertari family. We can't let you ruin it so carelessly. I'll open it. Cobra followed Levi and the others, and when he saw Crocodile standing in front of the mechanism, he knew that Crocodile was not deceiving them. Afterwards, Cobra fiddled with the ground for a while, and he found a pull ring. With the sound of gears clenching, a door leading to the basement appeared. Is this where Pluton is? Crocodile walked towards it with 4.8 eyes. There is only one large cube of gray-white rock in the entire basement, which is covered with strange symbols. What is recorded on this? Crocodile's breathing began to become heavier. He had been lurking in Alabasta for so many years, and now the results were about to come. In the year 239 of the celestial calendar, Cassius conquered Alabasta. In the 260th year of the celestial calendar, Taima dominated the Petan dynasty. 306 celestial calendar, Elmar Jandav Cathedral, year 325 of the celestial calendar, Mamu, the hero of Orochi. That's enough, I don't care about the history of this country, I only care about where Pluton is. Crocodile interrupted Robin directly. Chapter 171 Crocodile, defeated, please customize, please order in full. Unfortunately, there is no mention of Pluton's information from beginning to end, Robin replied with a shrug. Really, then you are of no use, Crocodile sneered and penetrated Robin's body with a golden hook. I have been cooperating with you for 4 years, and everything about you satisfies me. I promised you at the beginning that I would give you the historical text and you would give me the news about Pluton. Since if you don't provide me with valuable information, then you have no value. Those who have no value can only die, Crocodile wiped his golden hook and said to the fallen Robin. You are so ruthless, Sand Crocodile. Crocodile was about to crush Robin's head with his foot, but was stopped by Levi. This is the country of my students, we can't let you mess around, Levi smiled at Crocodile. Oh, really, let me tell you a secret. I planted a big bomb in the square that could destroy the entire Alabasta Palace. What are you going to do, Levi? Crocodile smiled at Levi. 15. Pluton must be in Alabasta, so I said that if Alabasta is turned upside down, I will turn him out too. At this moment, Crocodile was already crazy. He spent so much effort, but finally found that Pluton was not here. How could this make him acceptable? Is this what you're talking about? Zeus stretched his head in front of Crocodile and spit out a huge bomb from his mouth. Why is it here? Crocodile felt the hairs all over his body explode. If this bomb exploded here, based on the power of this bomb, I'm afraid he wouldn't survive. Levi, it seems that this thing is very scary. 10 thunderclouds are not enough. I need 20, no, 30 small thunderclouds. Seeing Crocodile's expression, Zeus knew that this was a good way to blackmail Levi. Opportunity. Okay, then 30 meals. Levi agreed easily. After all, there was such a dangerous thing in Zeus's belly. If he wasn't careful, he would be blown to pieces. Zeus, go find an uninhabited island or deep sea and throw this bomb down. This thing should explode soon, Levi said to Zeus. Okay, I'll go now. Zeus heard Levi's words, and his figure turned into an afterimage and disappeared. Levi, don't hinder me. Crocodile retracted his legs. He took a deep look at Levi, and then his body turned into sand and disappeared. What's going on? Why did it suddenly rain? When Crocodile came out of the basement, he found that the sky was covered with clouds and it started to rain heavily. Alabasta has already drained away the water vapor in the air due to the use of dancing powder, and the heavy rain now seems a bit abnormal no matter how you look at it. Vivi, long time no see, an old man named Whitebeard wearing a high hat greeted Vivi in the sky. It's Dean Heleda, why are you here? Vivi shouted in surprise. In order to test the skills of new students, I set up this internship in Alabasta. Because of Alabasta's extremely arid climate, this place is an excellent examination venue, Heleda laughed. Hello, Senior Vivi, I am Koala. A girl with short orange hair appeared in the air, and she bowed to Vivi. Damn it, you actually dare to ruin my good deeds. Crocodile looked at the figure in the sky, and he suddenly started gritting his teeth. I didn't expect that Alabasta's biggest problem would be solved in this way. Desert Sword. A scimitar made of sand appeared in Crocodile's hand, and he threw the scimitar towards the sky. Your opponent is our Eric Guild. A wind blade flew over from a distance and scattered Crocodile's sand blade. After that, Crocodile found Eric and others flying over from a distance. They are all a bunch of incompetent trash. Crocodile looked around and saw that all his men had been defeated, even the M1 that he had high hopes for. Now Crocodile has truly become a loner. I'm going to get rid of you all. Crocodile let out a loud roar, and then his body suddenly appeared in front of Bartolomeo, and he punched Bartolomeo in the face. Damn it. How is this possible? Crocodile's hand was still trembling slightly, and the blow he had just struck involving armament hockey did not break his defense. Barrier pistol. When Crocodile's blow failed, Bartolomeo's fist was wrapped by a barrier, and then he punched Crocodile in the stomach. Boom. With a loud noise, Crocodile's huge body was smashed away. This damn rain. When Bartolomeo's fist hit his stomach just now, he was ready to elementalize his body, but because of the rain and the presence of hockey on Bartolomeo's fist, he became solid. He received 587 punches, and blood was already flowing down the corners of his mouth. Sickle. The wind blades flew towards Crocodile again. The moment the wind blades landed, Crocodile's figure had already left that place, and the wind blades left several deep scratches on the floor. The three of them are all ability users, so this rain has an impact on them all, but the biggest impact is on Crocodile, because he is the Logia fruit. In this heavy rain, he lost his greatest support. Crocodile can no longer elementalize as he pleases, and the power of his sand is greatly reduced in the rain. He has to guard against Van Oka's attack. Crocodile doesn't know how many sea stone bullets he has. After several hours of fierce fighting, Eric and others finally defeated Crocodile. At this moment, Eric and others were panting and looking at Crocodile, who fell to the ground. This guy is really powerful. If Van Oka hadn't used sea stone bullets in the end, after hitting him, I'm afraid Eric and the others won't be able to take him down at all. I didn't expect that I would be defeated by a group of juniors, Crocodile said with a bitter smile while lying on the ground. After a sea stone shackles were added to Crocodile's body, Crocodile became a prisoner, and he could no longer make waves. Chapter 172. Goodbye Blackbeard. Please customize, please order in full. Lord Levi, Alabasta will always remember your kindness. King Cobra thanked Levi. Now that Crocodile and his gang have all been defeated, they were all held together by sea stone handcuffs and were guarded 24 hours a day by guards. After a hard battle, Alabasta finally returned to normal. Now they're in Alabasta's banquet hall. Because of King Cobra's benevolence, all the rebels put down their weapons as soon as he appeared. This heavy rain has lifted the crisis in the entire Alabasta. After the rain, all the cities in Alabasta have returned to life again, and all the people are celebrating happily in the streets. After 3 years of severe drought, all the people were ecstatic about this precious rain. On this night, the entire Alabasta fell into a sea of joy. Now Alabasta holds banquets across the country, and the whole country is plunged into a sea of joy. Only then did Levi and others see the delicious food of Alabasta. The chef here is Ikaram's wife Tira Godon. I have to say that this woman who is exactly the same as Ikaram Jong is really amazing. She is at the cooking speed of a person can actually keep up with these dozens of people, which is really impressive. Master Levi, do you still remember me? Koala approached Levi. Levi looked at Koala and smiled. How could I forget? We are all prisoners taken out of Mariejois. It's really great that you still remember me. Koala narrowed her eyes happily. I didn't expect that the little girl who was thin back then has become a beautiful woman now. Levi joked to Koala. Koala's face turned red, and then she shyly hid behind Dean Haleda. Vivi seems very happy today, Dean Harida laughed. When Vivi was studying in Visalia, he liked the little girl's pure smile. After that, Vivi began to frown. He also discovered this matter after secretly investigating. This so-called internship was all his excuse to deceive Vivi, and his purpose was to bring rain to Alabasta. Afterwards, amid a burst of laughter, Levi, Hancock, Hiori and others began to enjoy this pleasant journey. They were all immersed in joy, but no one cared about poor Zeus. Zeus listened to Levi's words, and he began to fly quickly outside Alabasta. Suddenly he saw an island full of tall forests, and there were 2 giants next to the island. Zeus was about to go down and ask them for directions, when he suddenly felt a burning sensation in his stomach. When Zeus spit out the bomb, he found that the 2 giants let out a loud roar and a shockwave at the same time. It's flying. With the shouting, Zeus discovered that there was actually a ship where he threw the bomb. Strange. Why'd I seem to have seen Nami? I'm in trouble now. Zeus felt guilty. But as long as I don't tell, who knows? Zeus looked around heartily. Strange. When did our martial arts become so powerful? Red Ogre and Blue Ogre looked at the huge waves in front of them, and their expressions became very strange. Could it be that after 100 years of endless fighting, our martial arts have been honed to an unprecedented level? Blue Ogre scratched his head in confusion. While they were wondering, the huge waves drowned them. Levi, where are we going this time? Hancock asked. Early the next morning, they said goodbye to Vivi and others. Eric and others returned to East Blue. As for Levi and others, they had already finished traveling to East Blue, so there was no need to go back. Let's go to the Drum Kingdom and see it. The Drum Kingdom is one of the few countries on the Grand Line that has developed rapidly in recent years. Since the establishment of the medical school, the Drum Kingdom has become a medical pearl and is known to the entire world. Ahead is the Kingdom of Drums. I will take you to the medical school's laboratory soon. I guarantee you will be surprised. Levi pointed to the small island in the distance and said to Hancock and others. Levi, look, the Drum Kingdom seems to be on fire. Hancock pointed at the island and said. Levi looked carefully, and it seemed that the island was indeed on fire. His observation hockey covered the island. The real situation was even more shocking than what he saw. Countless houses had been destroyed, but the medical school was destroyed. There were only 4 people. Blackbeard, you are looking for death. Levi's eyes were full of gloom. He never expected to meet Blackbeard here. It seems that Blackbeard has obtained the dark fruit. I'll go and deal with the enemy first. You and Hiori come over slowly in the boat. After Levi finished speaking, he soared into the sky on the moonwalk. Ha 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 ha, Poison Q, didn't you say you have to serve in this hospital for 3 years? Now that the hospital is gone, you don't have to serve them. A bearded man laughed at a man who was frightened by his illness. Teach, you are so brave, you dare to even touch the Drum Kingdom. At this moment, Levi's voice came from far away. How could it be him? Blackbeard was startled. He didn't expect to meet Levi here. How did you get here, Teach? Levi asked Teach. Please call me Blackbeard. Now that I have left my father and established the Blackbeard Pirates, come and meet Levi, a super big man who had a bounty of 5 billion Li Nuos Pele, more than 10 years ago. Blackbeard's laughter was full of arrogance, completely different from the honest man Levi saw on Whitebeard's ship. I am the navigator Lafitte of the Blackbeard Pirates. Everyone calls me the Devil Sheriff. A man wearing a tall hat and gentleman's uniform saluted Levi politely. I am Burgess, the helmsman of the Blackbeard Pirates. I am Poison Q, the doctor of the Blackbeard Pirates. Levi looked at the 4 people in front of him. Their auras were not weak, and they all seemed to be strong. I have found the devil fruit dark fruit, which is said to be the strongest in the world. I will become a strong man who rules the new world in the future. Blackbeard opened his arms and laughed wildly. Teach, there are only the strongest people, and there is no strongest devil fruit. You are too willing to sacrifice one's strengths to compete for the last, Levi said to him. Chapter 173. Confused Blackbeard, please customize, please order in full. How is it possible? It's because of shock fruit that Dad got the title of the strongest man in the world, and Golden Lion also became the flying admiral because of lion fruit. Blackbeard laughed wildly. It took me more than 20 years of hard work to finally find the so-called most powerful fruit in the world, dark fruit. It has the most heaven-defying ability, which can disable the power of other demon fruit. Blackbeard smiled at Levi again. He had been suppressing it on Whitebeard's ship for more than 20 years. Now he no longer needed to endure it. He wanted to make up for the smile he had lost before. What? Blackbeard's subordinates were all shocked. This was the first time they had heard of devil fruit with this kind of ability. Demon fruit powers are mostly extremely dependent on their devil fruit abilities. If they suddenly lost their devil fruit abilities, I'm afraid they would be in trouble. A split second can determine their life or death. As expected of Blackbeard, his subordinates all sighed. Originally, I was planning to leave after recruiting Poison Q, but now I have changed my mind. If I kill you now, then I, Blackbeard, will be famous throughout the 347 sea right away, thief ha ha ha. As Blackbeard laughed wildly, the masked man known as the champion jumped towards Levi like lightning. Swinging elbow. With a wave of Burgess's big man, his armored arm hit Levi. His huge body fell from the sky, and it really looked like a mountain bearing down on him. As expected of Burgess, Lafitte sighed in his heart. He had seen Burgess use this move before. At that time, a Sea King's was knocked unconscious by him. This guy had the power of a monster, and he didn't know how Levi would deal with it. Do you only have this little power? You are really weak, Burgess, Levi teased Burgess. Levi only used his left hand to lift Burgess in the air, and even the ground beneath his feet did not tremble at all. What a terrifying power! Blackbeard stared at the ground at Levi's feet and his pupils shrank slightly. Levi's blow was completely dependent on his terrifying body, so the ground was not damaged at all. Although Blackbeard can also take BFCE, Burgess's blow, he will never be as relaxed as Levi. The most terrifying thing is how much strength this man has used. Blackbeard has a bad feeling in his heart. How can it be? Burgess was lifted into the air by Levi. Unlike other bystanders, he felt Levi's terrifying physique more intuitively. He felt that Levi's hand holding his armor was like an iron pincer. He recalled being raped by him when he was a child. The fear of paternal domination. Kaka. There was a cracking sound from Burgess's armor that made everyone tremble, and then Burgess's armor was completely crushed in an instant. This armor is not an ordinary armor. Because of Levi's intrusion, Wano Kuni founded the country in advance. Now the armor on Burgess's arm is made of sea stone. He crushes the sea stone with his bare hands. This scene simply breaks their cognition. As expected of a great pirate with a bounty of 5 billion belly. Burgess only had time to sigh, and then his huge body was lifted up by Levi and smashed to the ground with one hand. Boom! As the ground shook, Burgess's entire body was embedded in the ground, and with his body as the center, a large pit with a depth of 5 meters appeared in front of everyone. Burgess had already had bleeding from his mouth and nose, and his eyes were bleeding. He turned pale and fell to the ground. Levi destroyed one of their powerful combat forces with just a casual blow. Looking at Levi's figure, everyone felt as if a huge mountain was weighing down their hearts. Dark water. Blackbeard let out a loud roar, and then a black Uzumaki appeared in his palm. His palm faced Levi. An astonishing scene appeared. Countless gravel and other debris rushed towards him, even in the coma. Burgess was also sucked in by him. Even so, Levi stood still and didn't move at all. He just looked at Blackbeard with a half smile and said, "You want to defeat me with these little tricks? How naive." As expected of a great pirate with a bounty of 5 billion baileys, how about you try my trick again? Blackbeard laughed. He never thought that this move alone could make Levi submit. If Levi could be taken down with this move, that would be abnormal. Dark water. Even the water above the sea in the distance was sucked up by him, but Levi in front of him still didn't move, and now Blackbeard was a little panicked. "Since you won't come over, then I will," Blackbeard said fiercely, and then he rushed towards Levi. With the blessing of dark water, his speed was twice as fast as usual. Ha ha ha, it's your turn. Blackbeard's hand grabbed Levi's right hand, and he suddenly burst into laughter. As long as he touched Levi's body, everything was settled, and Levi could no longer make any big waves. "Congratulations on catching me, what next?" Levi's plain voice sounded. "You can no longer use Devil Fruit's abilities." Blackbeard was also a little confused by the calm Levi. This script was wrong. Under normal circumstances, Levi should have discovered that he could not use the Devil Fruit ability. He should have panicked. "Keep up your show, Blackbeard," Levi encouraged. Blackbeard's forehead was already covered with cold sweat, but he was already on the verge of death. He could only grit his teeth and use his ultimate trick. Dark tunnel. Blackbeard let out a loud shout. This move can suck all the objects he touches near into the darkness of infinite gravity in Uzumaki and completely compress them. As long as his dark tunnel is open, even a Sea King's can be compressed by him. A huge black space spread out around Blackbeard as the center, and everything on the ground that the darkness Uzumaki reached was silently dissolved. This move still looks good, I can't hold on anymore, come on, teach. Levi's voice was still calm, and the darkness at Blackbeard's feet didn't even swallow up his feet. Impossible, how could you not be affected at all? Blackbeard was completely confused. Who told you I was demon fruit power, teach? Levi asked Blackbeard. Chapter 174 Blackbeard is defeated. Please customize, please order in full. Blackbeard suddenly thought about it. It seemed that Levi had never said that he was a demon fruit power. Although Levi could also release thunder and lightning, the pirates on the sea only speculated that Levi might be the thunder element of Zone's phantom beast species. Fruit, or some kind of thunder-type ancient animal fruit. Levi is so powerful that no one can force out Levi's true strength, so no one knows what demon fruit power Levi is. When asked by Levi today, Blackbeard discovered that he had completely fallen into a misunderstanding. There are many ways to release lightning, not necessarily demon fruit power. After all, you have to rely on your own strength, teach. Levi clenched his fist, and then he punched Blackbeard in the belly. Blackbeard flew away in response, and his dark Uzumaki was automatically lifted. Ah, it hurts so much, it hurts me to death. Blackbeard fell to the ground and kept rolling. Levi knew that this was the side effect of Blackbeard's devil fruit. This is the biggest disadvantage of dark fruit. Although it can invalidate other people's devil fruit, once he is attacked, he will suffer 2 consequences, times the attack. Eat an apple, Lord Levi. Poison Q threw an apple to Levi. Keep it for yourself. Levi's figure suddenly appeared behind Poison Q with Levi's hand knife. Poison Q collapsed to the ground. The reason why the Drum Kingdom suffered this calamity is because Poison Q learned medical skills in the Drum Kingdom. The Drum Kingdom has regulations that doctors must serve for free in the hospitals of the Drum Kingdom for 3 years after becoming a doctor. So Blackbeard had destroyed the hospital in the Drum Kingdom. Luo spent 5 years of hard work and was destroyed by Blackbeard today. In Levi's eyes, Poison Q is far more hateful than Blackbeard. Let me be your opponent from now on, Shenwei Tianren. Lafitte shouted loudly, and then the crutch in his hand hit Levi heavily. Levi watched the crutch in front of him hit him, and his body did not dodge at all. Don't show off this ridiculous illusion in front of me, Lafitte. Levi didn't look at the crutch in front of him, and kicked it to the left. Boom. Where Blackbeard lay down, another big pit appeared, and Lafitte was defeated by Levi in one move. How did you see through my illusion? Lafitte was puzzled. His illusion was invincible on the sea. This was the first time he had seen someone who could directly see through his concealment. Poor frog at the bottom of the well. Mere illusions are not worth mentioning in front of a strong practitioner of observation hockey. Levi looked at Lafitte and sighed. Lafitte's illusions will not be seen through the eyes of ordinary people who practice observation hockey. Unfortunately, Levi's observation hockey has reached the most advanced level. Now Lafitte uses these small tricks on him, which is really a trick. At this point, the 4 members of the Blackbeard pirates were defeated by Levi, and they were all defeated by Levi. As expected of a great pirate with a bounty of 5 billion, he is really powerful, but I will not give in. Blackbeard wiped the blood from his mouth, and then he took out his claws. Blackbeard's physical skills were also very good. When the red-haired man challenged Whitebeard, he used this claw to hit the red-haired man. There was a scar on his face, which made the red hair cold to him even now. I won't fall down here. Blackbeard wiped the blood from his face and stood in front of Levi again. That makes sense, Blackbeard. Levi looked at Blackbeard, who exuded a fierce aura. The current Blackbeard is more like a big pirate, cruel and ruthless. The current Blackbeard is more dangerous than the previous Blackbeard. After Blackbeard got the dark fruit, he never met a strong opponent, so his mentality began to expand unknowingly. Now he is easily defeated by Levi, and the old Blackbeard is back. After that, Blackbeard and Levi started a physical battle. Although Blackbeard had used all his strength, he was still no match for Levi. Blackbeard, your current strength is still far behind. How can you defeat Whitebeard to rule the world? You are still far behind. Levi kept taunting Blackbeard, and at the same time, his fists and kicks were merciless, and he kept attacking Blackbeard. Hit him. Please give me flowers. Blackbeard screamed in pain. He was now suffering twice as much damage as usual. This was also because of Blackbeard's special system. If it had been someone else, he would have lost consciousness. Blackbeard's eyes couldn't help but glance around. Levi is too powerful. He must find a way to escape. If he continues to fight, he will be beaten to death by Levi. His pirate journey has just begun. How can he escape? You can fall down in this place. Levi suddenly frowned, and his observation hockey discovered that there seemed to be a new situation on Hancock's side. She was competing with someone coming to Conqueror's hockey. Why are there so many Conqueror's hockey on the sea? Isn't it said that Conqueror's hockey is only 1 in a million? 0 since the enemy opposite has Conqueror's hockey, this person must not be underestimated. Good chance. Blackbeard's eyes flashed, and he keenly noticed that Levi was distracted while fighting him. Dark Tunnel, release. Blackbeard threw all the earth and rocks he had absorbed during the previous battle with Levi at Levi. The earth and rocks were so powerful that they looked like shot bullets. Levi, goodbye. Blackbeard laughed and headed towards the sea. His speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, Levi's observation Hawkeye lost Blackbeard's sense. Although Blackbeard escaped, Burgess and Poison Q were not taken away. This guy was extremely decisive. He knew that taking Burgess and Poison Q would slow him down, so he abandoned them directly. I want to see who dares to fight Hancock. A fierce light flashed in Levi's eyes, and then he headed in the direction of Hancock. When he got near the ship, he found that this place had become a world full of stones. Everything here had turned into stones, even the enemy's attacks, all turned to stone. Big perfume femur. Hancock let out a loud shout, and then kicked her foot towards the stone statue. The enemy had been turned into a stone statue by him. When Levi saw the man clearly, he loudly said to Hancock, "Keep someone at your feet." Chapter 175 Brothers Reunited, please customize, please order in full. Hearing Levi's voice, Hancock's feet stopped in front of the statue. He was afraid that if Levi delayed shouting for a moment, the statue in front of him would be kicked in half. Do you know this fanatic? Hancock's brows furrowed, obviously she was still angry. Husband, when you first came to the island, this young man came, and he also knew my sister. He said that there was someone he was looking for on the island, so he insisted on going there, but my sister wouldn't let me, so they started fighting. After Hiori's story, Levi also learned how Hancock had a conflict with him. Undo the petrification. This guy is the captain of Whitebeard's second team. He is here to deal with Whitebeard, not the enemy. Levi said to Hancock, who then untied Ace's petrification. Although Ace is the rising pirate star of 527, who has been in the limelight recently, he is simply not enough to watch against Hancock, who has awakened the sweet fruit. I'm back to normal. Ace was touching his body. He had just fought with Hancock, and now he realized that the pirate empress, one of the Shichibukai, was really not worthy of her reputation, and Hancock had also awakened devil fruit. Hancock formed an overwhelming crushing force on Ace. Under Hancock's sweet fruit, Ace's flame was also petrified into stone by Hancock, which had no effect at all. Master Levi, my name is Ace. I was also on Whitebeard's father's boat when you held your wedding on Sky Island, Ace said to Levi. My name is Portgas D. Ace, and I came here to chase Blackbeard. Blackbeard Marshal D. Teach was originally a member of the second team of the Blackbeard Pirates. He actually brutally killed the captain of the fourth team for a devil fruit. Thatch, as the captain of the second team, I have the obligation to capture Teach. Ace explained to Levi while pressing his hat. Are you the new captain of the second division? Hiori kept looking at Ace. Hiori and her brother Momonosuke were born on the Moby Dick, and their father Kazuki Hiori was the captain of the second team. Therefore, after Ace introduced himself, her beautiful eyes kept looking at Ace. Ace has black hair and some Madara on his face. His smile is bright and he looks like a boy next door rather than a pirate. You're injured. Let's treat your injury first. Levi took Ace and headed towards the Drum Kingdom. Mr. Levi, it's great that you are here. You are worthy of being Mr. Levi. Kaya greeted him in surprise. When Levi and Blackbeard were fighting, they had been observing in the dark. After Blackbeard escaped, they all slowly come out and start cleaning up the mess. Where's Wapple? Levi asked Kaya. King Wapple, he is sleeping. Kaya's expression was very strange. As expected of Mr. Levi, he beat away those pirates in one fell swoop. At this moment, Chopper also came over. As he walked, he danced and imitated Levi's movements. Hey, a talking tanuki? Ace put his head in front of Chopper. Asshole, it's a reindeer, Chopper said angrily to Ace. Chopper is a reindeer that ate everyone's fruit, Kaya explained to Ace with a smile. Are you injured? Chopper's eyes saw the wounds on Ace's body. Ace's outfit was extremely disrespectful of the laws of nature. It was winter in the Drum Kingdom, but Ace was wearing an orange cowboy hat with a pattern on the brim. A badge of smile and sadness, and a skull sign and a vermilion necklace on his neck. He was wearing shorts and a dagger at his waist. This was all he was wearing. His cool summer clothes were incompatible with the people wearing fur coats. So Chopper saw Ace's wound at a glance, and then he put down his small medicine box and started to bandage Ace. What a great job, Mr. Chopper. Ace looked at the wound that Chopper had bandaged for him, and he expressed his gratitude to Joe as well. Isn't this Ace? A shout of surprise came, and then a person sat on Ace's neck. Ah, it's Luffy, long time no see. Ace was also pleasantly surprised. Asshole, don't do that. The wound will open, Chopper yelled at this reckless boy. Hey, a talking tanuki? Luffy and Ace are indeed brothers, and their words are exactly the same. Asshole, I'm a reindeer, Chopper yelled at Luffy. Mr. Levi, long time no see, Sanji said to Levi. Now Sanji has always been a gentleman, wearing a decent black suit that makes him look very handsome. Hello, Mr. Levi. Zoro also greeted Levi, but his expression looked very unnatural. Last time he challenged Hawkeye and was completely beaten by Hawkeye, which made Zoro feel very embarrassed. What are you doing here? Levi asked. Our navigator Nami was injured. We heard that the Kingdom of the Drum is famous for its medical skills, so we came here. Usopp replied, staring directly at Kaya. Usopp, you look more like a real man, Kaya said to Usopp. Really, Kaya, you have really good vision. Let me tell you, on the island in front of me, I defeated a fish bigger than the island. After hearing Kaya's compliment, Usopp suddenly became very excited and started bragging to Kaya about his 4.8 great achievements. It seems that the inertia of history is really strong, and Nami finally got on Luffy's ship. Levi glanced at the weak Nami, who was now unconscious. She was bitten by Cascula. How is this possible? As far as I know, this insect is extinct. Chopper frowned after checking Nami's injuries. When was she bitten? Chopper asked seriously. About 3 days ago, Luffy recalled while rubbing his chin. It's not too late. People bitten by this bug will have a high fever of 40 degrees Celsius, as well as myocarditis, arteritis, encephalitis and other symptoms. If it takes more than 5 days, they will definitely die. Chopper explained to everyone. Hurry and push her to the infirmary, Chopper said to them.